the fade, bro. It's sick. Don't listen to this guy.
Yeah, obviously I'm chuckling about it. But Short Joe's Barber, man. Come on, he's from Argentina, man.
So what?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean,
The economy's struggling and stuff. You don't want to short that.
That's funny. You're a joker, bro.
Yeah, so it's all right. Here we go, guys, in IBIT. We caught that fill on, thank you, Neil. I much appreciate it.
Get him, Neil.
So, yeah, thank you very much. Sick fade, he says. So, I don't know, let me know who your barber is, buddy, and I'll go check him out. And we'll
Who's your barber?
Yeah,
let me see your hair.
Yeah, let's see your hair. No, we're only playing. We're only messing around. Good stuff here in RGTI, guys. Having a good Monday. 132 to be exact. So nice look here. Continuously piecing it out on RGTI as we climb higher. So that's one of the better trades of the day. So there it is. And we're still climbing. We only have one out left. So we'll hold on to that remainder of that 10% there. IBIT, let's see if we're continuing to climb. And there we go. We caught that fill. So we posted up there at 27s. I think that next target's going to be 35, and we'll hold on to that. And if we break through this resistance zone that I mentioned earlier, guys, then I believe that we can go and test that high day. So that's going to be the thesis and the play. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about earlier, guys, is that how Microsoft is kind of just lagging everybody. Oh, there it goes. Bitcoin just popped. So nice look there. The long-term portfolio is looking good again.
Hey.
So we're all giddy about that. So yeah, we're having a good time. Microsoft, you can see just the weakness here, guys, from that 5-minute time frame. So if you're playing that orb, you get that continuous breakdown, but it just hasn't been participating in the overall market move. So that's why you can see we're just kind of dragging along here in the Qs and in the SPY as well too. So we'll be patient, see if IBIT's volume starts to pick up here, Shreve, and we can go in and test that high day.
All right, we got in at 75, scalped up all the way to 85s. I'm back in here for the break of 2. I'm talking about IMTE. I picked up 91s. Let's see if we can get that break into 96. It does seem to be aggressive buying here with the idea that we could get, there it is, baby. And now we're going to take a little bit more at 2. Very pleased with how this trade is going. So, man, I fat fingered. Let's take it out here. I'm going to have to take it. Oh, wow. I'm so slow, bro. All right. Let me just post it up where I wanted it. There we go. Boom into 98s. Very happy with this trade. I was able to get back in on this one. So 75 out. Took everything out, but got back in at 90, out again. So good execution on this one, but can definitely do a little bit better. Certainly now that it's above $2. Nimit, man, thank you for pointing this one out. Bovin, thank you for pointing this one out. But I'm happy I stuck with my plan, which is to wait above the pre-market high. Obviously, you're going to point out and say, Sharif, you could have been long at that $1 and you would have been $1 in the money. I get that, but it doesn't happen every time, right? That's why I insist on the pre-market high getting taken out. It's just about a statistical methodology here, in the sense that if they're below pre-market high, then there is a higher likelihood that they do break down. We'll look to trade this one once it is open again. Currently halted at 202 with a tap showing 210. So we'll keep eyes on that one. I did not get a chance to mention this one, but you guys have been yelling about it for a while, and thank you for pointing this one out. PSTV. Good look, man. This one did make its way onto my my scanner. It's not the #1 gap or anything like that. It's up 20%, a little bit less actually than 20% now that it's pulling back a little bit, but a nice directional move, and especially a nice breakthrough that $1.30. You had 2 rejections at that $1.30. You kind of pull back into VWAP. It looks like it's going to be a flat bottom break, right? Because you're putting on all these lower highs with that flat bottom, and then you're made to pay if you took this short, because rocket it did. Off that 118 area where VWAP was, moved up into 150. It is meeting some selling here at that 150 level. But what's most positive about this is not the fact that it's up 20% on the day, but it's pulling back and it's holding above the 10 exponential. So that's going to be my first level to see whether or not that level that indicator gets breached or not. Currently, it's at $1.39. The price is showing me 140, between 140 to 142. If that level gives way, I'm talking about the failure to hold the 10 exponential moving average, I'm looking at that $1.30. That $1.30 will be money, in my opinion, because it was such an obvious resistance level earlier. It should get tested again as a possible support level. In addition to that, you have VWAP at $1.28. So you have very, very close areas between that $1.28 and the volume weighted average price. I'm talking about that ticker on your screen there, PSTV. Definitely interested for this one. If it does hold the 10, I'm taking it long for the break of 150. If it doesn't hold the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, I'm picking it up. I'll try to pick it up between $1.33 and $1.25. I'm happy that I didn't short MLGO, despite the fact that the Katina man was nice enough to get me shorts on this one. Because look what it's done, Joseph. I mean, you think flat bottom break, you got bamboozled twice. Look at that. Failure of 9, pops back up, takes out 10, gets everybody out.
That's a lick grab right there.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I insist on shorting these below VWAP, because buyers are still in control in this area, whether we're pulling back off the highs or not. So MLGO definitely in focus, but not for me at the moment. KDLY is doing its absolute best to reclaim that volume weighted average price. It's had once, twice, and now we're on the OB dang thrice attempt. While we were doing that, we put in higher lows. So this is kind of the good news here. Whereas in this attempt, we put in lower lows, with lower highs, but we tried to break it. That was an obvious failure. And now we put in higher lows. So now the buyers showing that just, little by little, they're starting to regain control of the price action of KDLY. Look for a break of 255 on a closing basis, and not this garbage over here where it wicks above VWAP and then loses it right away again. So that's not what you want to look for, especially if you're going long there. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Joseph. KDLY and PSTV. Let's see how they trade, baby.
Hey, let's go.
Oh, I just saw D. Westermeyer. My bad.
Oh, mister.
Sharif, I bought and sold IMTE for 15 cents a share profit at the market open. I wish I had a crystal ball. You and I both, my man. Shout out to D. Westermeyer, a friend of the show. We miss you around here, brother. Hope you definitely have an opportunity to visit us again, because it was a hell of a time while you were here. I remember he brought me sorghum, that sweetener sorghum. Okay. I think some cinnamon and some honey. Ooh. And I'm out of all three. I used all three. They were excellent, man.
Honey. Ooh, I like some natural honey too. I think some natural honey.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was.
Yeah, that's good
all
stuff.
About that later.
All right, guys. You know what time it is. Darwin, I think this is your moment to shine. E-Signal, new traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything infinite. Data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan that QR code or check that link in the description right there, folks.
Wes, y'all, dropping the cash in the chat. Thank you very much. Wes, y'all. IMT is open. It looks like it's going to halt down. Unless it's going to be a false halt here, 187. I'm just going to cover West y'all in a second. It is now halted down. IMTE breaks 2, halts down. Keep your eye on it. I don't think that's the end of the trade. Wes, just want to show my support for the show. I love trading every day with Sharif and Joe. You know I'm always here and trying to contribute. Thank you very much, my friend. Well, you're a great fan of the show, and I love your commentary and your call-outs for these levels. Fact. And thank you for putting me I don't want to say to the sword, that's not what I mean, but making me explain why I have my strategy. It helps reinforce it in my own mind, and it helps, I'm sure, other traders as well not fall into the same trap. So thank you very much, West y'all, for that super chat, Joseph Wilson.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the thing. Like, I remember West y'all from when I first started sitting at this desk. So he's been in here for a hot minute. And what he says, I'm like, yeah, you're right, dude. And he contributes a lot. So thank you very much for that one there, West y'all. And I know you've been killing it. So congratulations on your journey and how well you've been doing. So yeah, we like that one here, guys. So let's see if we can continue to climb higher. RGTI, I got out right at the peak. That's going to be nice, but we're posted up here. I'm going to take another 5% out at the top on IBIT, but that one worked out. Again, this is the trade that we really wanted to hammer. It was earlier in the morning, guys. I told you I'm a momentum trader. The opening drive is where I thrive. I'm I'm not trying to face Neil in a rap battle or anything like that, but here we go. This is what I want. And to Lewis, who asked me in the chat, he said, Joe, how do you get over this stuff? Well, look, Lewis, we're just going over it. You just got to stay focused. Whether you're down 2-0 in the game, 3-0, wherever it may be, stick within those parameters and stay true to yourself and just stay hyper-focused and locked in. And then sure enough, you could put together a couple shares, a couple nice trades. I am still slightly red on the day, full disclosure there, guys, just because of the size that I was pushing here. And it didn't work out, that's fine. But again, we're recovering nicely and we're putting on some nice trades, and that's what we want to do. That's the name of the game. So really, really good luck there. DJ2M, yeah, that's not going to happen. We're going to go to a Dara in 1, so we'll see here. So, okay, so really nice out there on RGTI as we start to pull back into some of these key levels. That trade is done, Zeno. Let's see what Adara's up to.
Just keep an eye here on Robinhood here, HOOD. About 10 minutes ago, Reuters was reporting here that Massachusetts regulators are looking into the company's March Madness basketball betting. So they've recovered, I think, pretty much all of this drop to the downside. But keep an eye here. We did have a couple minutes ago this drop in Robinhood as Reuters reports that Massachusetts regulators are looking into the company's March Madness betting practices. Guys, back to you.
Dara, and I'm curious in the chat too, guys. It's irrelevant to me what platform you're trading on or anything like that, but not in that context. But just let me know: are you guys trading these event contracts? That's what I'm curious. Just put yes or no in the chat because we know that a couple brokerages are starting to pick up these, and the steam is starting to really get rolling here on these event contracts, which I think is insane. It's essentially just another form of sports gambling. But just put yes or no if you're trading these event contracts in the chat, because they are growing in Robinhood as well too. Like again, I can't speak good enough about those Robinhood numbers, and that's why I'm attracted to the name, Sharif.
Yeah, man. And
so a lot of people are saying no already. So
yeah, I don't know if I want to bet, Joseph. I just download DraftKings or something like that. I get it. It's nice to have it on your phone, but I just don't. I
just don't think the two should be mixed.
No,
you know what I mean.
You're already having people complaining about gamifying the stock market because you're on your phone punching into positions and stuff like that. Not like I really should care what they think, but. The fact of the matter is, people are complaining about the gamification of it, so you don't really need to add gambling.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Event content.
I don't really care. If they want to generate revenue, they can. That's what they're doing. They're generating revenue. So revenue generator for them, right? They got license for it. We've got it on our platform, right? Our brokerage has it.
Yeah, they have it.
We could have bet on the election. There was what else did they throw? They threw the election down.
There's like temperature during the election. Yeah, it's like temperature of the temperature of the next day.
Really? I didn't see all that. You must have dug deep.
It's like, yo, what is going on here? Yeah,
Dara, but like that's normal, man. In England, you could bet on like the color of someone's soccer shoes or who touches the ball first or 10th. Like, there's literally anything you can bet on.
Yeah.
Anything that is discernible and factual can be bet on. I don't know, Dara. It's just the way it is.
I mean, the chat is mixed. Well, it's not mixed. I would say
MLGO.
Majority. Okay, do you want to cover that here quick before we go through the
Go ahead.
Okay.
I got
so the chat is just saying no. So
I agree.
No, and I agree with you guys on that front. I don't think the two should be mixed. And then Paul says stock trading is total gambling. I'm gonna disagree.
I disagree.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will. You got to put probability in your favor. It is a probability. Like I guess career based or whatever you would like to call it. But again, gambling is just punching some keys and just hoping things go up, but not actually building a thesis or having data backing that thesis. So I would disagree, Paul, on the gambling aspect. You can totally treat it as gambling, or you can treat it as a probability game, which I believe.
Absolutely, and I see what you're saying there, Jameson. Polymarket already does that. Why would you want to go off? I get that. I mean, I think that they're just looking at it from a revenue perspective kind of situation, and not really because it's warranted. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you don't want to use the option on your brokerage, don't use it. I mean, that's really, it's incumbent upon you to make that decision. So MLGO's breaking out here, guys. I took 11 longs. It's literally the high of the day. I'm giving this about 10 pennies, so if it will have to hold 10, otherwise I'm gone. I'm looking for a continuation, possibly into that quarter dollar, and we just got stopped out. I mean, it's probably not the best idea to put your stop that close to 10 now that it's going to continue, but I just didn't want to give too much back on this, and it's at the high of the day. So probably not the best trade right there, especially have your stop so close to that $10 area. Definitely need to give a little bit more room, but we'll take the stop there. Yeah, and then it breaks into the high of the day, or not the high of the day, excuse me. It breaks into that 20 penny area. So a bit of a mistake there for me. Definitely shouldn't be trading it with such a tight stop on such a volatile name. But I'm just going to let this one cook with 15 minutes left on the show. This one could easily go into 300% and 400%. 300's on the door. We're knocking on the door at 300%. I meant to say it could easily go to 400%. We could see $11 very, very quickly on this one. It's at the high of the day, so anybody shorting near the highs, if the price keeps going up, likely will get squeezed out. And they'll be forced to cover. So keep your eye on MLGO. It is by no means done the trade. 1073 high a day. I'll submit to you, though, that the real selling did come in at 10 1/3. That's where we're between 10 1/3 to 10 1/2 right there, with the wick going into, as I mentioned, that 75 penny area. So MLGO trying to defend 10 at the moment. Keep your eye on that. IMTE, there you go. There's so many buys on IMTE. Yeah, IMTE is interesting, certainly, but it has halted again to the high side. Like I mentioned, this one, just because it halted down doesn't mean that it was the end of the matter. As long as it's above VWAP, and especially if it's above that 10 exponential, even on a down halt, it's by no means out of the trading game, so to speak. We going to Adira?
I didn't get anything on it, yeah.
As we get here, a little bit of a push towards VWAP here for the NASDAQ, these slightly lower highs, lower lows continuing. We have very, very cautious comments coming through from Fed's Bostic saying that he's expecting inflation to be bumpy. Initially, he was seeing 2 rate cuts this year, but now he only sees 1, and saying that both families and firms are telling the Fed they really don't know where the economy is heading at this point. Literally, the first remarks from his statement that we saw come through here on X are, quote, "There is a lot of uncertainty." So uncertainty really marring Fed's Bostic's comments here, also saying that he's cut his own personal rate forecast for 2025, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, man. And you guys are looking at doing any of those type of trades that Joseph and I were talking to. Profit X, a fantastic one as well for anything like that. So just any interesting ones there. Keep your eye out on that.
There's some really good points in the chat, and you guys are right. Gambling is a probability game. I think there's differences as well, but I like what Crapsock said here as well too. He said, "Show me a roulette table or blackjack table where you can cut your losses mid-hand." You can't, like, as soon as you put that chip down on it, it's gone, right? It's gone, whether you win or lose. Same with roulette, whatever game you're playing. When you put that in, win or lose, it's gone. And in this, you get the ability to say, hey, I don't like it, see you later. You don't get that ability to do so in some of the casino games. And I mean, yes, and Mark Douglas does refer to as a casino. I understand it does have a like of it. And a lot of people, we joke about it from time to time, but I don't think it's the same. I'm not going to put it in the same realm as sports gambling, to be honest with you. And that's just me. It's opinion, totally subjective. Yeah. If you can agree, you can disagree, whatever you're happy with, then yeah, sure, whatever.
Are there bets that you could get out of early if you're in the money?
Yeah,
if you're in the money.
They'll offer you something. Yeah.
How about if you're out of the money?
I'm not familiar with that, so yeah, I don't know if you're losing something. I highly doubt that if they do, they'll probably offer you something not necessarily even close, right? So you can get those offers from, I know some of the sports gambling ones, right? So, and that's the thing too. So if you have, like, say you have a parlay and 2 of those 3 those bets are winning, then they'll offer you, say, like 75% of what the full payout would be.
That's what I figured that was.
I don't know if you can do that to the opposite.
You're in the money.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I don't know if there's the opposite side of that. So for all our sports gamblers, let us know if you can, if you get an offer, even though your bet isn't looking too good. So
yeah, that'd be great to know. It's like an area that or like an industry I have no idea about. I don't really bet. I don't really gamble. I never really did it in Proline. Did you ever play Proline?
Yeah, I used to play a lot of Proline.
Proline is just like our government-run one.
Yeah, exactly. But that was when I was like 18, right? The day you turn 18, you go and you grab a couple Prolines and.
It's never been my thing. I don't understand I get the over/under now, but like for a lot, I didn't understand anything.
I mean, back in the day, it used to be you had to pick 3 like games and 3 like tickets within it. Say if you do an in-game thing, you'd have to pick 3, but now you can just do single game betting, which is more along my line. Like what I was doing for a while, I would just pick one fighter that I really liked and just rode it for the whole UFC. And that's exhilarating for me. Right?
I like it. All right, we're punching along PSTV here. I'm giving this to 133. So 133 is my out on PSTV. I like the curl and the hold up of 135. So if it loses that area, I'm gone. Simple as that. We're just going to give this one the old college try over here. Let's load up some possible beak wetters. We'll load them up like that, and we'll just load them up just like this. So if it does pop up, I do get some prints to the high side over here. I'm talking about PSTV. It's up 17%. It's not the biggest mover on the day, certainly. No doubt about that. But it is putting in higher lows and a few bottoming tail candles right now at that level. Los Polos Hermanos, do you know about the bet Brexit, Trump win, and Leicester winning the Premier League? No, I didn't. Because that was literally the year Leicester won the Prem and the Orange Man got elected that same November. Yeah, that was actually it. I didn't know about that. That's brilliant. I bet you those were 2 very low probability bets, and that's what you're talking about. And Brexit as well, I think, happened that year. I didn't know anything about that. Thank you for letting me know about that. Eddie R. Those offers happened in 2015 when Leicester City won the Premier League. Makes absolute sense to me. Nobody thought that Leicester was going to win the Prem. I think that there was a part of the year when Arsenal lost, because Arsenal was second that year, that Arsenal, I think it was Arsenal losing to Everton, if I'm not mistaken. And then that was basically like the 10-point difference, and Arsenal never recovered after that. And then the odds went up huge for Leicester. But I think that Arsenal actually had the higher probability to win, even though they were in second for like the majority of the year. I could be wrong on that. It's been a long time since that's happened, so I'm not remembering exactly right. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you for reminding me about that. Good times there. We're getting a bunch of prints though here on NAK. This took forever to manifest. Nice. Joseph, NAK. We'll take 24s now. I'm waiting at 26 and 28. Adara, what is happening up there?
What's happening are more comments from Feds Bostic. As we mentioned earlier, Feds Bostic is very skeptical and very cautious here, saying that he's actually lowered his own personal rate cut forecast this year from 2 cuts in 2025 to now 1. Now he's actually talking about tariffs, so you always want to keep an eye out here for tariff talk. Feds Bostic saying that the Fed has to acknowledge the fact that historically, tariffs have usually been a one-time jump in prices. But he's saying that, quote, this may be questionable this time. As we know, Donald Trump has made it very clear that he's willing to move these tariffs as he sees fit throughout their lifetime or throughout their spans. So keep that in mind here. Apparently, because of that, Feds Bostic saying that the Fed has to be on watch with this. He also says they don't want to move in one direction then have to undo it, so they're going to be more patient. Basically, the long story short is every comment that Feds Bostic has made so far suggests the Fed's going to be pretty cautious in their rate approach going forward, again, because of tariffs and the overall economic conditions. Also worth noting here, Donald Trump is set to speak at 2 p.m., so in about 5 minutes here, 2 p.m. Eastern, set to speak alongside the governor of Louisiana at 2 p.m. He'll speak again at 3 p.m. at Greek Independence Celebration, and then we're going to get Feds Barr speaking about 10 minutes after that, so lots of speaking heading into the afternoon. Back to the Bash Brothers.
I used to know the grandson. I don't want to say his name.
Magna? The Magna girl, Stronach?
The grandson,
yeah. Knowing Stronach now is a little...
Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
he seemed to have been taking liberties with people that he was not entitled to take liberties with.
I knew that.
We'll just leave it at that.
That was the grandfather, though, I believe.
Yeah. Belinda Stronach is his daughter. Mm-hmm. She was I think she was a heavyweight in the Conservative Party.
Oh, was she?
At the federal level, but then she tried. I think she left after Stephen Harper. But not much has happened.
I went to the.
We're talking about the owners of Magna, by the way, guys.
It's a car company here. Yeah, and what Randy was telling us is that Magna made a deal with NVDA, so that would be interesting. But yeah, I've been to that compound.
It's a beautiful, an Aurora, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful, bro. They have
Have you been?
Yeah, the community center that they have there, the Magna Community Center. It's a monster. You play hockey there, I'm assuming.
Bro, I never been. No, I went to their actual,
Magna.
yeah, like Belinda's estate. Their
monster house that they have there.
Dude, so it's like house 1 is the grandsons, pool, own lake, everything.
I've driven
you
by
go
that.
down. Oh, dude, I went to one of the craziest parties there ever. I was probably in my.
I want to hear everything.
Yeah, we were about like 18. So all my buddies from high school played rugby with the grandson. So anyways, they had a rugby party, and there was probably about 1,000, like probably about 300-400, not 1,000. It's quite a bit. But they have like the pool, their own pool there, the outdoor kitchen, etc. Just a massive compound that this kid owned, and he was a teenager at the time too. And we had the most insane party there ever.
I love it,
absolutely
man.
Insane, yeah, it was crazy.
Great times. I can't say I've ever been to that dude's house or.
Dude, he has his own lake.
Yeah. A multi-billionaire, one of the richest men in the country. Just Frank Stronach is his name. He doesn't have a good reputation anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's the grandson's name too. So I guess
it was Frank Jr.?
Yeah. So that's the grandson's name too. Huh. So yeah, it's like Frank's house, then Belinda's, and then the grandfather's in the back.
Seriously,
and yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah,
it's a big house. I was just actually in Aurora yesterday.
It's multiple houses on the compound. It's just it's insane.
Beautiful look there.
Yeah.
Guys, what's the situation with MLGO? It's a rocket ship, that's what it's doing. But it is possibly double topping here, guys, at 1050. So we have an 1120 high a day, but it looks kind of ugly with this topping tail candle, even though the topping tail candle ended up closing green. This is what I'm seeing right now on MLGO. You took out that level, you squeezed out all the shorts, but either people were taking profits awfully aggressively from 1050 to 1120, or shorts are scrambling and putting in new positions here, Katina, man, because this thing is up like a dang rocket ship, 303% on the day, but having a lot of trouble with 1050 as it's had all day. We'll see how this ends up trading as we close out the day here, but MLGO has been a rocket ship. And Tisha, you don't usually stay this long in the chat. Yes, I see you. Yes, back and forth. Don't buy the highs. I'm not, Tish. I'm not buying these highs. I've made it today on MLGO, and I don't want to give back up. This is the trade that we kind of lost 10 pennies quick as you like on, and the reason is because I just didn't want to give too much back up there. Ended up being a paper-handed move, might be, but you're not gonna win everything. Anyway, defending 10 right now, but the bid is getting taken out. But there it goes above 10. A little zig, a little zag. This one is on one. Certainly keep your eye out on that. N8K, we're doing well on that. Show me 23s. The next level I'm waiting at is, let me just make sure that that's not a real print. That's not a real print. Next level I'm waiting at is 26 and 28. But the one that we're currently out of the money on is PSTV. Where is PSTV? There it is. Show me 36. All of a sudden, the volume disappeared. What happened to the volume on PSTV? It looks like it's not even trading. It literally is just standing still at $1.36. I'm long $1.39, and now it's not moving. So this is not a glowing endorsement to go long here with the volume dropping off a cliff. And the price not going to go up without volume, I can promise you that. So I'm going to probably move up my stop now from that $1.30. I'm going to move it up a little bit higher here because I don't want to give back anything, if at all, on PSTV. We'll see if we can get out break even here. Joseph, what do you got with 1 minute left on?
Yeah, I'm just talking to Anu. Yeah, I didn't trade MLGO. I know Sharif traded it pretty well today, so that's a good look. I'm just sitting here in iBid. I have a little bit left of this position. We'll hold it for the crack of 50.32 and for the high day as well too. So yeah, not a horrible look there. That worked out really, really well. Wow, whoa. DJ 2 a.m. with the deuce, 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 deuce. Let's go. Thank you for that one. Just a small token of appreciation. Thank you, DJ. Still waiting on those Dolph mixtapes. Yeah, that's what he does. He makes mixtapes and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you, DJ. Much appreciated, my friend. And just like, who was it who put it in the chat? Oh, West, y'all. You two, when you guys are in the chat, we love that you guys are constantly chiming in and you're regulars, so very much appreciated for that. And I mean, we still got a lot of food we got to buy. You weren't here on Friday, so we got to still get that stuff.
Oh yeah, completely forgot about that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
hopefully
tacos
we'll do this weekend. Yeah. I'm good with tacos. I have no issues
get
with
some
tacos. Pack
brio
on the protein, baby.
Yeah,
we can make our own tacos.
Exactly, there you go.
Take all of that protein.
Balls and everything along those lines. But guys, it is 2 2 o'clock.
I just want to give them a couple more ideas before we go. Before we go to the big kahunas, IMTE is at the high of the day right now. Guys, it's going to take out that high right now. That's this one here without a ticker. 221 high. It's showing me 17, 16s. This one is on one. Also, Mara Katina, man, you have that one right. 1439. It is at the high of the day as we speak. MARA up 16.25%. So keep your eye out on those bad boys. LUNR as well. Very strong, but very slow. And then needless to mention, MLGO, PSTV, and IMTE. Those are the big boy, what are they called? Small cap gappers on the day. But you're probably going to see a whole bunch of large caps now and the Mag 7. We're going to send you off to the big kahunas. Joseph and I will be back tomorrow. Peace.
Hit that like before you go.
Yeah, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank
buddy.
you, Sharif. Thank you, Joe.
Yo, we were just talking about some interesting stuff. We'll get into it more with it. Because we're talking about sports betting the whole time, and we got some ideas that we're going to throw around.
We got some NFL draft stuff that we're going to throw down on Profit X.
Yes.
We are going to light that.
We're going to light it up on
fire.
Because there's so much you can do with making markets on that site.
We're gonna put up some crazy props and players people never even heard of, and we're gonna see if they can.
And you're all gonna know who that. Trust me, there is a dude who is basically.
We'll figure this out.
There's that dude who is Van Wilder.
Lawyers.
There's a Van Wilder that's gonna go in the NFL draft. He's like 25, 26 years old. Played college for 7 years, and people are trying to talk him into the first round. And I'm like all over the other side of that if we get an opportunity, which you
Neil's
can.
not feeling the first round on that one.
No, I'm not. You know what I'm also not feeling? You know what grinds my gears, Sean?
You tell me.
When the market's up 2% and making higher lows and higher highs, and you got all this strength out there, and Tesla's up 10%, and
I'm waiting for the bad part.
well, yeah, but you just went to my chart before I could even finish setting it up.
Microsoft? Yeah, but what about Apple? There's a bunch of them.
Well, okay, well then what really grinds my gears is when Microsoft, despite all of that, under VWAP, drops at the open into a strong market. You're supposed to be rebounding here today, and Softy can't get out of its own way. That's what grinds my gears today. I haven't traded Microsoft. I'm in GM because there was that, I don't know why Trump was referring it to as car tariffs. Like, is that a new thing?
What, instead of automotive tariff?
Car and pharma was the quote.
Right.
But nobody said it's automotive. Like auto. Don't people say auto?
He use whatever words he wants.
No, I know he does,
you know
but even he says auto. It just weirds me out.
Car tariffs. Well, I mean,
Nobody says.
Well, at least if you have an SUV, then you don't have to pay.
Well, no tariffs on it.
Yeah, so I think that was probably
Doesn't make any sense. Everybody.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that, as we're talking there, we're going to show some examples there on Profit X. We're going to
It's spicy.
We're going to talk about that for sure with the NFL draft coming up, and then NCAA. We'll see some of those lines as they get going. We're still short the Qs. We're getting some out on that one as well. Welcome everybody. It's a little windy outside there. Oh, the roll up the rim is now over, but I used a free one that I got last week, so we got one there, and Randy's all excited.
Oh, and shout out on the. Well, I already said thank you on the crate thing, but
I know someone asked you. Yeah, go.
But I finally started. What was it called again?
Jumps?
No.
Run
The Last of Us.
Oh, The Last of Us.
On Crave. Good show.
Yeah.
Good show. Yeah, starting to enjoy it.
We
was able to watch them. Busy weekend, but I got some of it in.
What was your? I know because of Microsoft there. I don't think I've ever asked you what name are you most invested in the Mag 7?
NVIDIA.
Oh, it's NVIDIA.
Yeah, it wasn't always NVIDIA, but
I know how sensitive you are about Microsoft.
No.
I think mine's probably Meta, but that's just because, like, it's been NVIDIA has been the one that I've been looking at the most serious.
Yeah. Well, I haven't bought Microsoft in. Microsoft falls into the category of those stocks that it's like I've been in for a very long time. But then I ask the question, it's like, how much do I still like it relative to the other stuff? Like, I haven't bought it in forever. I haven't thought about buying it in forever. So then the question, it's like, why am I still in it? Like, I think that's the stock that I'll hate myself. I did buy it once. I bought it one time in the last 4 years. And it was that August bottom where I bought two things.
Right.
I was like, I definitely want to buy Meta. Let's buy something else a little more conservative in the August bottom. And I should have put it all into Meta. But it's not like it lost. It's just that it's annoying.
Yeah, there's better opportunity.
Yeah, it's opportunity cost with Microsoft. So I don't know why I need to be in it, and I'm not sure there's a logical answer to that. I think I own enough of the indexes that I don't need to be in Microsoft. Not to harp on Microsoft and probably talk too much about it. I promise you, I'm willing to bet, and you can make a line for this, I'm willing to bet when we go to Sharif and the names that you guys are interested in talking about, Microsoft not only is not going to be there today, it's not going to be there tomorrow, it's not going to be there for the rest of the week.
Well, I'm going to go edit the list.
And the next time, well, that's the point. You couldn't make a prop on that because then you could just name it, right? No, the next time
kind of like the
up,
government, investing in maybe Teslas or something like that potentially, right?
Well,
they gave that huge government contract to the Cybertruck.
The Cybertruck.
So yeah, I think there is some making of the lines there potentially.
Can't wait to make some lines.
Between Wall Street and the White House right now.
Let's say that again. Starlink at the White House.
Starlink at the White House. Yeah, I heard about that as well. What's more dangerous, Starlink at the White House or all those servers in Hillary's basement? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll eventually find out the answer to that one.
Sean, they turned over 10,000 emails. You got to let it go.
Right. They went through all 10,000. They're all pretty clean. That's for sure. Because Bill was probably chilling out as well. Okay, let's go. We're short the queues. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But for right now, let's go over to the desk, to the screen, and find out exactly what's on that rundown.
Got a lot of big name movers today, Sean. Welcome everyone to the afternoon rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The boys are locked and loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those ticker up there is to join Joseph and I on the How to Trade show during the midday. I don't know why I stumble there all the time. And get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. But you've got to be a subscriber in order to engage with us in the chat. This is a look at the triple Qs, as Sean mentioned. The futures coming down a bit. We're a little bit off the highs. The NQ still up around 1 3/4. Likewise with the Russell 1.93 and the ES up 1.4. The Dow, the only one of the four major averages below 1% currently, about 0.98. Not really much there. Amazon. Good look today on Amazon, 3%, a bunch of different bull flags, no specific catalyst on this one, but it had been recovering from last week, guys. So good look above that $200 Bezos shelf.
Yeah.
Bezos shelf.
I don't, so I was just thinking, I just looked over our watch list. Normally the names that are on the sticky note are, ones that are highlighted at top of the watches or something like that. For some reason today, I'm going to have to, I wish I could get back into this brain and figure out what the heck was going on, because Amazon, the number one idea for me today. And it was just like I said, we're wanting this long today off last week's high, looking for a bottom, possibly 196. That doesn't even come close to making any bottoms, but it is going to be my number one stock today. And this is what we did. We just bought it early. It was going and it had a ridiculous run right away, right off the open. And we missed it, and we were like, what? Okay, the market kind of wasn't doing this. And then all of a sudden, we fell back in, and that's where we bought the first little bit at VWAP, then we bought the rest at the 50 period. And we were just going to use this low of basically $200, maybe $199.50 or so, that pre-market bottom as our out. And then it just took off. Yeah, so that was long 200, long 2 and change, and just goes, right? The different story is going to be in Tesla, where was too much into this to look at Tesla, but very similar, where we just went and it just kept on going to the point where right now I think it wants to slow down a little bit. I mean, we can see what it's doing here is little barcoding. I'm not sure the market's sort of taken this barcoding stance right now for the last hour and a bit. So we'll wait to see, again, maybe waiting on tariffs. There's a couple of earnings reports, but nothing super today. But yeah, Amazon holding higher there, up 3%. One of the names, I asked a question to Neil about which Mag 7, and I saw some of you are mentioning Amazon. So, there's a lot of love for this kind of a name. Costco was being bought up, Walmart. So, I mean, maybe the retail there, hoping that we can get past all this tariff talk, the jobs to be secure, and we can just kind of move on. Amazon, it looks like it's going to continue to win. Again, a big part of many of our portfolios, and if you're invested in the NASDAQ, then that would be true as well. So good day there for Amazon, up 3%, outpacing the market. So yeah, I'm not sure what exactly triggered it, but it's going to be my, my best trade, and just sticking with it early.
Well, that's all Mag.
And yeah, that's it. So it's all Mag 7 up there. Yeah, there BTC is IBIT is now is in there. We need to have a new Mag, like Mag 7, but with IBIT in there.
Well, you can put Amazon over Apple. I'd say that. But
for Apple?
Apple sucks. That's
SUX. Oh, that must mean.
Well, that's a little hard.
You know who's written these down.
Well, that's a little bit hard.
Has to be Ramin. Insane.
Like on a day where 23andMe is going under. Up. Amazon looks great. 200 period, 200.
Pretty soon it's going to say Alpha, Apple is Sigma or something like that.
Oh, there it is with the Sigma.
Yeah.
That word is
It's happening in your house, you were saying.
yeah. Well, in a couple of things, they banned the word Sigma. They banned
See?
it. They banned Yeah, Sigma got banned at my daughter's gymnastics. There was something else that she was doing. Yeah, 100%.
It's too
weird.
alpha, that word.
No, it was just, I guess, and that all that skibbity stuff. Like, they were
That's
just
some
like
skibbity toilet news right there.
exactly. They were all over not
trade
allowing
desk.
the kids to say that stuff.
So what are you thinking about Amazon then?
I was trying to think where I would rank it. So above Apple, above Microsoft, right now above Tesla. That's an easy thing to say. I think the decision would come out of the Mag 7 is what I think of Amazon relative to Alphabet. I know I like Meta better than Amazon, but it would be between Alphabet and Amazon that I have a decision. And I don't want to lean towards, well, I'd sooner buy Amazon here than Alphabet because I own more Alphabet. So therefore, like I own probably at least 2x, less than 3x, more than 2x, Google to Amazon. So that's a tougher one. But today, right now, Amazon easily, because you've regained the 200-period moving average at $200, which makes it pretty simple. As long as 200 holds this week, you go long off 200. I think I wasn't in it, and it wasn't on the radar because, as you said, like I can't think of a reason why. But that's a miss. It's a great look off 200, and as long as that holds, why not? Good
Why was
company,
it on my radar?
Valuation. It could have just been maybe the 200 level. I don't know. Is that why you were looking at it?
I don't know. It must have been the $200 level there, and it was just starting
You got a
to
few
go up.
packages?
And we knew, wow, yeah. But,
Still nothing ever stolen from me.
yeah, we've never had anything stolen. That's an interesting one. Let us know in the chat if you guys have. Sharif, you've had anything stolen? Let's go over and find out.
In grade school, that's really...
From Amazon.
Oh, no. I live in a condo, so they don't steal anything from me. I don't know what you were talking about. All right, guys, next here, IBIT, 50 1/4 is the price, up about 5 1/3%. Bitcoin's up almost 4%, coming into that $90,000 area. We saw net inflows last week of about $700 million. So good look there. Also, jokingly, obviously, our friend and guest of the show, Peter Schiff, if this thing wants to work, it's not working, that's fine. Peter Schiff jokingly added Bitcoin into his portfolio for his 62nd birthday and wrote on X that anybody who wants to donate anything to him can give him Bitcoin. That's all he's accepting for his birthday, boys.
I'm going to get to BTC in a second, but I got to tell, he just said bike story, his bike got stolen. I have an epic story about a dude that we knew from high school. May he rest in peace. He's the nicest guy you've ever met. I'll get to him in a second. My boy's bike got stolen, and a few of us were like going around the neighborhood, myself, my brother, and the guy that his bike was stolen, and then another friend. We were like rolling around the neighborhood trying to find who stole his bike. How far could they be? And the reason why is this dude's bike, the chain would always bust. Like it would there was like a limit. Eventually, these dudes are going to be stopped somewhere because you could only ride brother's bike so far before it would break apart. So lo and behold, we catch these dudes in a walkway. And we see them, and we're like, okay, there's more of them than there was like a few of them.
Right.
And so we're like, oh, what do we do? And then we run into our boy. You remember Howard?
Yeah.
So dude, this guy is, imagine the best wrestler in your state in high school. The guy was he was a superstar on the football team. He was the best wrestler in the province. He was just a freak of an athlete. Unfortunately, he literally passed away he was a bouncer. He was breaking up a fight at a club and got shot. And this guy, all he would ever do is help people. And he's like the biggest, strongest guy you've ever met in your life. And I remember he saw us and he's like, what's going on? And we told him the story. We didn't even know him. He was an older guy in our high school. And he knew we were the little kids from the neighborhood. So we were like 15. He would have been like 17, 18 years old and the big shot. And he's like, oh, where are these guys? And then so we walk him over and he just walks right up to these dudes and he says, you got my boy's bike, to like 6 guys. And they basically just broke out. Bro had his bike right back.
Most people don't want to fight.
No, and that's the funny thing about it. And Howard, like he looks like he could take like 20 dudes.
Yeah, like a wrestler. Like
but
he's like full out.
But at the same time, like you've never met like a kinder soul. And I always tell that story, like the dude was the nicest person you'd ever meet. And he'd never bully anybody. He'd always help his friends.
I thought you were going to say you paid the guy off in Bitcoin.
Well, I can't bring that back to Bitcoin.
And if you think about it, that was, back in high school, so about 50, 60 years ago, then we would be like back there when Bitcoin, I mean, we went to high school together, so, you know, but.
I'll give anything to.
What was that, 22 Bitcoin for the one pizza? Look, Shreve, I apologize. I didn't mean to bring back any bad childhood memories about the stolen bike or anything like that, you know, so, because I know that can be emotional there.
Someone stole my bike.
Yeah, someone stole Neil's bike.
Someone stole my Bitcoin long. And I have the worst.
Wouldn't that be the worst? That's the one thing.
No, if you lost, I'm fortunate. I never lost anything.
Especially people that have cold storage.
Yeah, cold storage. I never did, but
if you pass away or something, that's the big thing. I ran into somebody at hockey, and they're saying that their dad, who is 60, 70 years old, something like that, probably older because the guy's my age. So, anyways, he was saying that his dad holds crypto. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, your dad does? That's great. I was like, you know, what got him into it? And he's like, oh, he knows a lot about it. He actually holds it in cold storage. And I was like, well, I hope he gave, like, you know, the 20 words or whatever to whomever, because if anything happens there, that's an easy way.
Well, I think that's going to become a thing in the next, you know, couple of decades, for sure. No questions asked. Like, there's a lot of people who are probably in that, but who haven't thought about it. And like, what happens? Hey man, accidents happen all the time, God forbid. But yeah, you got to make sure you have some way for your family to recover it, I would think. When I say my long got stolen, I mean I put a trailing stop in, got the worst out ever, and didn't get back into Bitcoin. Now, obviously, if you have a stop and you get up and you're not at your desk for whatever reason and it runs, like, there's not the opportunity. Like, obviously, I should have got back in right away. I mean, it's clear. Because 50 ended up holding on IBIT, that's like 86.8 or something like that. It was a good long, kind of frustrated with it, and I didn't want to chase the move later. I think looking VWAP's going to make sense in here. As far as it goes, I think we're in a bit of a wedge. We haven't, like, broken the down channel. We haven't really done anything to get out of this sort of pullback that we've had outside of make a local breakout, which I think has a little bit more juice to go. I'd love to see us retest the 90 area, like the place that was the bigger resistance before. And I'm just going to go to the daily chart if I can. One more over here. And then, oh yeah, that's right, I got to do that. And sort of if you look at what's been going on, it's still a 15. Why is this not the daily? There we go. I want to go to the daily. It's that 90 level that I want to see us get back to. Get above that 90, into the 92, that prior support, which I likes to turn into resistance. For today, I think it's just a VWAP long in that 50. That's the place we liked it. And that's where we'll continue to look for the long. But I did have a bad stop out or trail out in the middle of the day.
We would like to introduce a new discovery on the NASDAQ. If you've been watching the show, it's ticker WKSP. It's Worksport. They're a U.S.-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP. Discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. All right, Sharif, let's go talk some Tesla.
10 1/3, Sean, and it trading almost at the highs, 274.65, up over 10%, now going on 10.5%. A lot of exuberance today after a lot of selling lately on Tesla, guys. Looks as if that FSD out in China, the catalyst today, working out there with Baidu. China FSD, a little bit different than here, guys. They need a local partner, as well as they can't use actual video footage acquired from Tesla cars on the road for their training. They got to do it a little bit differently because of privacy laws in China.
Really?
10%.
Yeah, I mean, it was only up 6 or 7%. Then Shreve told the story of him going on the Cybertruck, and the next thing you know, the thing's going up 10% there plus. So, yeah, no, interesting day there for Tesla. I mean, we knew something like this was going to happen.
Yeah, eventually.
Up 10%. I mean, we've seen days where it's been down that much, so it's nice to get a win here for the Bulls, that's for sure. And yeah, just sort of thought that, lower. I wrote down here 250 to 252. And like I said, it was the second idea on the sticky note today. Those of you that were messaging earlier on were trying to look at Tesla as well. So there's the move down. And like I said, I picked Amazon. Obviously a mistake, because Tesla had much more juice to it, to the upside, and it looks like if you were responsible enough to have, ridden that, you could have got $10. I don't mean responsible as in like responsible trading, but that move just went. And if you didn't punch out and get nervous about it. It was kind of a straight line up till about 10 o'clock where you hit and ran into that 270 wall, basically. It was good there for a couple minutes, fell back in about $3, then just took right from that level one more time. So yeah, it looks like this stock just keeps on getting stronger throughout the day. You know, you got to respect what Tesla's done here, bouncing numerous times off the 200 period early and then right there. And I guess that's not one, but come into this 272 level has been pretty nice. So yeah, hard to do anything but long today. Yeah. If you're looking short, like right there, and again, easy to find when you're second looking, but you know, that wick top with the largest, potentially, I shouldn't say the largest, but one of the largest candles right there on the volume happened around 1250. So that's probably the largest buy candle, despite, you know, some of the ones in the first 20 minutes. So I would say that looks pretty standoutish there for signaling some kind of a top. And that was 275. So again, a pretty good options level. It pulled back $2 and then started to go right back to that level again where you got another top wick at 75. Yeah. So maybe there's some action there where there's definite buyers up there north of 275, but there seems to be some sellers as well. So maybe some sort of a put wall or something up there around 276. But at the end of the day, great day for Tesla, man. Congratulations to everybody who was able to stay in this one and pick up. I know you picked up some at the bottom as well.
I did.
Yeah, so I
did sell some at 74-ish.
Well, that's the high of the day, so that's
no. It was like the low end of 74. Like it was
at the end of the day.
Probably like 74 or 2 or 3. But I'm missing a little.
Better than selling it, you know.
They didn't halt this.
Any other time of the day, you know.
I'm basically missing like 20 minutes on this chart. No, but there was, what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the only thing I had different is I did say in my note, first look at 255, which is a little frustrating because, here, it did get down to, like this wick is 56.3, so it was kind of close to getting into the gap. The problem is when you don't think you're wrong unless it breaks 50, it's a little bit, you're so far away the level that you really like, to try to get in when it's that quick of a move. Now, the good news is, hey, at least didn't try to short it. You probably could have got away with something, as Sean said, at 75. It would have worked out for you. I did that in AMD. I got away with a little bit of a short in AMD at lunchtime. Ooh, same thing on AMD. When it was breaking down underneath 114, but got away from that when it couldn't follow through. So, I mean, slightly up there. As I said, I just think this move with Tesla, because it's under the 200 period moving average, I just wanted to trim some because I still hold in the long term, and again, it's just of what I bought at 222. I just took a third of that out in front of the 200 period moving average, and then that way, if it does make another low, I can just look to get that back in. And we'll see what happens. I just didn't feel like they were going to be out of the water just yet. But you know what else was going up? NVIDIA.
Oh,
well, there's like 4 P's on the up. I actually think PayPal's down, believe it or not.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's where you're just saying pup.
Well, it was the up so that we could transition to NVIDIA. But, you know.
Sharif, give us a story on NVIDIA, my guy.
It's a tariff story, Sean. These reciprocal tariffs slated to take place April 2nd. Donald Trump expressed some flexibility with respect to how much he was going to assign for each country. They kind of earmarked 15 delinquent countries, calling them the dirty 15, so to speak. In any event, this recent show of flexibility by Donald Trump on these reciprocal tariffs had people feeling a little bit bullish on NVIDIA, and we're up 3.5% above that 120, guys.
In the chat, the wife, John 316, the wife's has to sell the wife's Tesla now. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I was actually saying that to Sharif, to Neil, I think as well, to Randy and all that, is like, I feel like the summertime is like, if all of this kind of settles down and blah, 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 I think there's going to get a little bit of flooding there of some of the used Teslas maybe, but I don't know. Anyways.
You going to pick one up out of this?
No, I don't think. I don't know. Like I said, the Tesla, I would just get the Model 3 because it's just back and forth. But maybe the Model Y, yeah, would be one. But I don't know.
Still thinking.
The wife wants that Rivian, so it's like I might as well just bite the bullet and do something with something. I don't know. Maybe I'll just take the bus to work every day, and she could take the Rivian. Feels like that's what it's like most times, anyways. It's like.
But with the issue with the Rivian,
I sit here and wear sweaters like that I've been wearing for. I mean, I was looking at the Instagram.
What's wrong with that sweater?
Oh, How old is this sweater? 5
No, I
years
said,
old?
what's wrong with the sweater you're wearing right now? You make it seem
Nothing.
like it's a
No,
Trader TV Live.
what I'm-
I'd rather be trading sweater. It's a very nice sweater.
This is also, I think, off the market. This is like vintage.
It is absolutely vintage. You can't even get them anymore.
Yeah.
Put some respect on the sweater.
Exactly. Good one, Neil. Yeah. Just respect the sweater for sure. But what I was getting at was in the closet. I'm over here looking at pictures, like, you know, when you get like those Facebook stories or whatever, Instagrams, like 10 years ago today or whatever. I'm like, oh, and I look down, I'm like, shit, I'm wearing the same stuff like as I was in that picture that I'm wearing now. And I look over, and what is my daughter's got the Super Puffer. She's got about 14 pairs of Uggs, all this kind of stuff. I just looked down, I was like, oh, you know, it's got the
14?
Same. Yeah, I think they had 3 or 4 pairs each, for sure. There's different ones, man. There's different sizes. There's the boot. There's the winter boot. There's the half ankle. There's the no ankle. Right, Ramin? There's the slipper. There's the indoor. Like, we may be the 50. See?
That's crazy.
Brendan has those.
I'm lucky.
This is what happens. See, this is what happens. So this is another thing. When you've got a wife and a dog, like when you don't have kids.
No, but usually you think
Sharif's shopping for Cybertrucks.
Be way more like.
You know, Brendan's wearing Uggs now.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
this is the thing.
That's a lot of Uggs, man. I'm glad my daughter isn't into the shoe. Like,
she'll be into
Uggs. She only will wear her Minecraft shoes. Like ever since we got these like Minecraft light up shoes.
Are they Crocs?
No, they're just running shoes. Like she wants to wear those in like the dead of winter. She loves them so much. So I figured like that phase will end and she'll want a bunch of other stuff.
There's a lot of people in the chat that are feeling this kind of talk because they.
No, but that's crazy. That's a lot
4 pairs? I'll ask her. I'll send a picture. I'll take a picture tonight of literally the murderer's row of Uggs.
Well, I understand like the multiple, like you have different brands and different types, but like a bunch of the same thing is what gets me.
Yeah, I mean, I have like 3 or 4 pairs of Jordans, but they're all, I guess.
Yeah, but those are Jordans, man. Okay, you know what? I shouldn't say that. That's for you to be like, yo, but those are Jordans. It's probably exactly the same concept.
Yeah, I think 40-year-old like white males are the only ones left buying Jordans. I think so. Shout out to
what a brother can't have any Jordans.
No, it's in the Nike call there.
No, they needed. That was the big thing is they're trying to diversify and get more into women's apparel. But Nike's getting its butt kicked. By the way, they're not up.
Have we talked about Apple? Which one are we on?
We're on Nvidia right now.
Oh, oops.
Nvidia is strong. I didn't trade Nvidia today. The only chip name I'm in is short on Intel, and Intel is at the lows because it's Intel, and Nvidia is completely barcoding everybody. Like this is it's a bull flag. It's a long consolidation here at a 122. Like this is not really doing much of anything. I think the longer it holds, maybe you get some kind of a dip and rip into VWAP. But yeah, I mean, good day for Nvidia. It never felt like it was like until late. It didn't participate in the move, and then now it's just sort of going sideways on its action. As I mentioned, I didn't get any reloads. There was no VWAP retracing until we had one shot at it. And I have a trail on. If it breaks trend, I'm getting out, and I'm waiting at 24. That's the chip name that I happen to be in. I like Nvidia. Apple sucks, feels a little bit harsh. There are worse stocks than Apple today, for sure. But let's get the story.
I just wanted to show you just for fact about what was on my feed. So
it was snowing this. Well, there wasn't. It was snow on the ground this morning. I'm just saying.
Whatever, man.
I got Tim's on because there was snow on the ground when I left my house.
Yeah, there was some snow on my house too.
Same. Cold.
All right, let's go. I'll talk about Apple when Sharif gets back.
I mean, it doesn't suck. It's certainly off the highs, though, guys. Rejecting that 220 area. It's up marginally, up 0.2%. There was this headline today from Ming-Chi Kuo, noted Apple supply chain expert, chiming in on X. Says that Apple's, the iPhone 18 is going to get a massive boost next year because they're going to use that 2-nanometer process that Taiwan Semi has been perfecting in Taiwan, guys. No 2-nanometer process chips are being made in America. The best that's being made in Arizona, 4 nanometers. In any event, looking at possible tailwind here for Apple after a strong close on Friday.
Beast close on Friday.
Yeah, was there an imbalance? Oh, yeah, there must have been crazy imbalance.
It wasn't huge or anything, but it went, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's that. Look at this. I have the Apple chart here from Friday. If you want to show it, there it is. So yeah, there's that move up. And we actually highlighted that with Intel, with Apple, and possibly like where they were opening was already a bumped up level because you had that imbalance level and Apple went from 215 up to 218. So yeah, whether or not someone knew something today was going to get announced or whatever, I was trying to go short Apple because it was weak against the market, and it still is, right? I mean, the market, I guess the market's not at high a day, but we're close. Apple's nowhere near where it was at the open. So, you know, that was 221 and change. We fell all the way back into 218. We tried the short here at 220. It was good for a minute. I mean, I was trading this with you guys live, and we thought we found Apple, and it was like, okay, here we go. And it only really got down as low as the 200 period, or sorry, the 50 period moving average. It basically held VWAP until eventually it broke out. We haven't done anything since. Wants to stay under VWAP, it looks like. So this is probably a decent short area for Apple. We've already lost on the short, but we're short the market right now, 25 handles. So we'll wait to see if that wants to work. But I would think Apple's also a short into this area. It's just, it is the chosen one, but it's not yet. Like, it got hammered there. You're going to hear, I'd like to see Berkshire back into this name. I wonder if they are. Just want to hear, like, some more positivity, something about Apple. You know, their iPhone 18 was the note. Like, they just dropped 16s, right? So we got to get through 17. Foldable iPhone or whatnot, whatever they're going to do with that. So I like it, you know, strong little uptrend there. I think we want to get long Apple. Just today it's a short, and right now it's battling with VWAP. So let it get up here to 220, and then maybe we'll look at it. But for now, I'm just short the futures.
Yeah, Apple under the 200 period. We talked about Amazon getting back there today. Meta holding there. So I think still penalty box, at least for now. Even if we get a couple more days of strength, I think if you get into 225, that could even be a bit of a fade on Apple. It's putting in lower highs. Like, I could slap a trend line on it now. But the problem is, if you were really doing it through the morning, like, it's broken the downward trend. It's just not explosive off of that. So I would look at the next level up here, which was, it was actually 220 even, and then 220 and a half. Like, those both look like shortable levels on Apple for for all the relative strength that it happens to have here. Oh yeah, let me just quickly, because we talked about that earlier. So GM, what time was it when this happened? It was right around 12:15 or something like that. 12:25 was when
Car
Trump,
tariff?
Yeah, the car and pharma. What did he say? Doesn't really matter. Car and pharma tariff.
And there was one other one, car, pharma, and was it aluminium?
Aluminium, which is how you say it.
Trump is talking about Hyundai right now. Okay, go ahead. But
so essentially the first pop that it had on GM came into a prior support level, which is 50-50. And so it was going short underneath it a few times. And so I'm just sort of sitting in that one as we go to, as Trump is delivering remarks right now with a Louisiana governor. And with that, we're going to go to Adara at the desk. Oh, are we ready? No. Yes, we are now.
Keep an eye here on the market. As mentioned here, we do have comments coming through from Donald Trump. He's announcing here alongside the governor of Louisiana that Hyundai is going to be making a $5.8 billion investment in the Louisiana steel plant. He's saying this is a clear sign that tariffs work and is telling everyone to get ready for his car tariffs. So some tariffs being mentioned here by Donald Trump. Again, this is not his only speech today. He had his cabinet remarks earlier today, and he will be delivering another speech that's going to be here around 3 p.m. for Greek Independence Day. Back to you.
Car tariff time. It's car tariff time. But yeah, so there you go, man. Congratulations, Louisiana. I mean, that'd be nice for the state, obviously. And there's another investment, right? He talked about Apple dropping those billions and billions or whatever, the largest investment ever by a U.S. company or by any company into the United States was that Apple promise. And then now you're getting, I think it was 5 point something billion, right, Adara? Yeah, I think. So there we go. That's decent.
It's not some change.
We'll wait to hear, man. That's a lot of jobs, I'd assume, as well. So that's great. Thanks, President Trump. Thanks, Adara, for that one. We've just been getting out. So as some of these tariffs and whatever we're talking about here this afternoon comes through, we're just short the market. And again, you know, nice move up. We're trying to short off of this level, the high of the day. Whoopsies. This is what we've been doing. I'm just trying to zoom in here again. You can't use the trackball here. You actually have to zoom in. That's actually an improvement I should send in to request. I can't believe I haven't done that yet. Yeah, the high of the day was right here. So we came back. We went for our walk. We came back. We had some lunch. We were sitting down here. Again, we went swimming, came back in, and then we just saw that it made the high of the day. So I was just going short on the 50 period against this high of the day, and then getting out back at VWAP, back at VWAP, back at VWAP, boom. So let's see right now if the market wants to give it up. I'm only in right now 40% of this whole position. So we were able to just layer it out on the way down. At the end of the day, they're all the same outs, basically. There's a 75. So we're short at 95. No, we're short at O's. So we're short at 66. Most of the outs are at 75. Then I have more outs at 65s. And then we wait for the break. So the first couple is 25 cents or so out for the risk up here to 66.25 because we're short at 66. And that's the position that we have on right now, looking for a downside push. And my next bid, it's at 63s. So we're right here, a little lower. Yeah, right at this wick. So that's where we're waiting for. And after that, I can look again. Then we're at 65.44s, which is below VWAP. We're waiting for that break. And then we're lower and lower and lower. So that's, let's just wait to see if this happens. I mean, we're short the market. If you want to be short, I think we have definitive outs. And look, it could run against, right? But if you're long, this is not a bad cover. I just said we're at 63s. I'm going to put a bid now at 65, just in case we miss that very bottom. We'll put out a little bit there. But here we come. So the market is coming back inside a little bit on possible tariff talk, right?
Yeah, it's not helping things whatsoever. So I'm going to hold GM, but I'm looking for a couple of other things. We mentioned Apple in 220, but it doesn't seem like it has the strength to get up there. I'm looking at Robinhood, which, by the way, Robinhood was a beast today. Let's get that out of... it's obvious. You guys all saw it was double digits to the upside for Robinhood. But now it's starting to make lower highs into a flat bottom. So this is starting to change its tune just a little bit. And I got to give credit where credit is due. Robinhood's having such a good day. But what's weird to me is on a day where Hood's strong, I looked up, SoFi was having a good day. Block, under VWAP, it's up 2%, but everything gapped up. So I don't care if you're up. It doesn't matter percentage-wise that you're up. What are you doing on the session? And on the session, Block has held VWAP, looked incredibly weak. This is a day where Bitcoin is strong. Block's chart, of course, they went to XYZ, but it's still underneath some of the prior resistance that we had earlier in March. And then throw in PayPal, looks like a bit of a dog as well. And even more weak is PayPal breaking down. I just think if the market's going to pull in, PayPal is now underneath last week's tops. So I was looking through some relatively weak names, where are the shorts going to be? And you've got last week's high on PayPal, 70.80. You've got the morning's low because this 70.80 here was at noon or just before noon. I'm thinking shorts to 70.80 on PayPal. And then even if it breaks that, you can be short in front of VWAP. It might be up 0.6%. PayPal not having a good day today. And you could throw Block into there. I'm not entirely sure what the reason is, but who cares? Price doesn't lie. And the other thing I wanted to point out is because you mentioned that, Sean, and I was like, that's a really good feature request.
Right.
So it does not get forgotten. This is a big shout out to How Things Work at Real Trading, the prop firm that we both work at. I've already started a ticket. You ain't got to worry about it. It's just feature request. And just for myself, I kept it simple. Ability to use trackball to zoom in on P Pro 8. Yep. So the second maybe tomorrow morning or whatever, I'll finish that ticket and word it up a little bit better. And that's one of the best things about P Pro 8 and Real Trading is that it's made by traders for traders. We put in feature requests that we want, and then the development team can work on it, because that's a pretty kind of standard and cool thing that you'd want to have in there.
It's not there,
We'll see. It kind of makes sense to me, and maybe no traders have asked for it. So I want to look for the short into PayPal, along with this trend that it's in, relative weakness, and a big shout out to everyone talking about Viper. Oh, sorry, wait a minute. It's Vivo Power.
Right.
Okay, well, VVPR just sounds like it should be Viper.
Why not?
Yeah, if I was... this ticker should belong to a company named Viper, but it doesn't. It's Vivo Power because I typed it in and that's what I ended up seeing. Up 200%. Now this is going ham. Keep in mind, this is a habitual one. It's done this before. It's usually falling back pretty nastily. And you've got about $5 was the last spot. 3's already broken, so 5 looked like it's... so maybe 450 and 5 would be next in here, where you potentially would want to think about taking some profit on it. Couple of halts on the way upside here, a bit of a midday rallyer, this VVPR. So it's looking really good, and if you're in the money now, congratulations. We always caution people. There was, and I forget the symbol now that you were talking about, the one that was up 5x. We had a trader that was up on the show that was up 5x. RGC, and that halted down a couple times. You take your profit on those and then let some ride so that you've locked in being green, and then you can see how much more parabolic moves you can get. So Apple, 220 I'm looking for. This is just my chart that's doing this. Everyone else's is fine. So 220, looking for a curl there. If we just continue steadily climbing, willing to be patient. As long as it's underneath the highs, that's about 220.5. I think we still have some time to get that short. That or PayPal. I don't think we'll really get a shot to reload. Well, maybe we will. We might be able to reload GM.
The market's going crazy right now.
The market's just spiking. Yeah, we just had to cut a bit of a bid, so maybe we are going to get an opportunity right quick to short this back in the 51.50 area. Because I'm going to fade this again on GM if we get a 50-50.
Yeah, we just popped up here quite nicely. So something, again, this is the thing. Like all I said to myself was, where's my out on the TQs here, just to make sure that we do have it. So I just went more short there. I did not have any shorts up here.
That's why.
Was not. You found the headline?
Trump may give a lot of countries breaks on tariffs.
There we go. So Trump may give breaks now. I mean, we knew this was gonna happen, right? So yeah, nice to see the market rallying upside there. So our out is still not all the way up here. We're not, especially now with all this talk, you got to be very, very careful. So my out is still 66.30s or so for that. So we'll go a little bit more short. It's too bad because we were waiting for a lot more and we just got missed, but maybe we'll get it back again on the upside. All right, Adair's got this.
So these comments from Trump on tariffs are a little bit mixed. I'm listening to him speak right now. This is kind of the Q&A portion of his announcement with the governor of Louisiana and House Speaker Mike Johnson about Hyundai's investment in the U.S. Basically, he's saying that he might give a lot of countries breaks on tariffs. They might be nicer than he expects, but he still says that, the U.S. has been nice to a lot of countries for too long, and he will be announcing more tariffs over the next few days, specifically with regards to autos, lumber, and chips, kind of in the vein of his Venezuela tariff announcement earlier today. So they're looking for this Liberation Day on April 2nd. Ahead of it, sounds like Trump will be announcing more tariffs. So he might give some countries a break on tariff, but that does not mean that we're off the hook when it comes to tariff announcements for now. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. Did get that PayPal. While PayPal might be up, remember, this one's been putting in lower highs, so I'm just looking for it to do the same thing again. In front of 70.80 here is where we got the short. I actually got some 75s. And I'm not going to put it, I don't put stops at the even dollar, but if this breaks 90, suffice to say I'll be out. 70.90, that is. I mean, it's not getting to $90 today. I had my bids into the low of the day on PayPal. Did not get anything on GM there as it popped. It was like a wick up on General Motors, and it didn't really carry through into the 50s. Like, that's a real wick. It got all the way to 51.40. I was sitting at 45. Yeah, I mean, look, we didn't get the fill, so it doesn't really matter. I was sitting at 45, didn't get picked up on that little bit of a spike. So no reload on GM. It's now headed right back into the bottom. We did pick up PayPal, as mentioned. And shout out to the Bomba, 55.
Nice.
Super chat. Notice my TTD HOD high of the day.
I like the HOD.
The trade desk at the high of the day. Do your thing, the trade desk. Yeah, up 4 points today. See, now that's what you're talking about. Forget about the percentage that it's up on the day. This has just been trending higher the entire session. Now, this is the kind of stock where those that get bottoms like this, I don't know how far it's able to bounce, but this got more than cut in half. And right off that 54, I don't know why we didn't have eyeballs. I know why I didn't have eyeballs on it, because there was no catalyst that I'm aware of. But that's a healthy consolidation. I don't know if you're day trade long this or like swing long on this. The day trade, I mean, $60 is in there. The swing, like your risk, if you have it from the lows today, your risk to the bottom is so small. You could really give this one some room. An example, hey, look at this. See there, I can point out examples where death crosses work. So there you go. There's an example where the death cross on the trade desk was a good looking short opportunity. NVIDIA though, and we got a lot of questions about this, and oops, this one's not gonna show it. I have to go to my, because NVIDIA has that split. So I gotta do it on eSignal and just quickly throw up the death cross in NVIDIA, where if you shorted on the day of the death cross, what happened? NVIDIA promptly started going to the upside. Not a huge fan of that as an automatic, hey, let's go into shorts. And remember what I said. If NVIDIA breaks out right after the death cross, there is no move down, it's a straight shot up after a consolidation, I'm going to favor a breakout trade. This is about 123. I don't know if we get there today, but anytime this week, without retesting this low when the death cross happened, at like 116, if it gets there clean for a breakout, I'm going to like that break with a stop underneath the cross bottom as an idea. Someone just dropped something over there. That's all good. So maybe we do get a shot to reload on GM. Let me just double check if that's going to head higher. The answer is no, GM doesn't want to go anywhere. So no reload on General Motors. We're into PayPal, going to give it a little bit of room. Intel is not bouncing. And I wanted long IBIT again, and that little, none of this move down is doing anything to pick up IBIT close to that 50 area. It's right back at resistance at 50.33. I'm not touching it here. It either needs to pull back or break out, and then you can work longs on the top end of the range. Do something is all I got to say, Bitcoin. You're at 88.5, but I need to get back into the trade after the worst trail out of the day for me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I would never.
Two of them there. That's the thing.
No, but like this one, I got right back in.
Yeah.
The problem was I wasn't like this one. I was here because it was a morning show. We just finished the show, and I got trailed out. I'm like, oh, so I just got right back in. But I wasn't at my desk when the second one happened, and that's the problem. If you have a stop order or a trailing stop, you get out and make bottom wick. If you're not sitting there, you can't get right back in. And that's another reason why traders. Yeah, it happens. But you're not going to not leave. You're not going to. You got to leave a stop order when you get up.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, I would get stopped.
Say that.
So I was going to say that happens all the time to all of us. So good
You're
one.
not
Good
gonna
look
not
there.
leave a stop.
Yeah, no, you're going to get stopped out when you follow those games. All right, so same thing for me. Oh, wow, there we go. Yes, sir. Here we go. Props it up. Bye-bye. And that's the whole point of Trump. Like, you never know what this guy's going to say. The market just cranked lower. Look at these trades. We just got shorter. We just talked about that. Short. Okay. Thank you. So here it comes in again. This man has no idea what his plan is. We already know that. He just admitted it, right? Like, I could be nicer to some countries, or I could not. Like, what does that even mean? But at the end of the day, I guess it's all reciprocal, and I understand that as well. Like, if he gets in front of Canada and we don't play hardball, then he would. And I think that's kind of what it's about, right? And so there's the move down. And I was just going to say, put bids where you want to get filled. We put some there at the 200 period and then again at the 50 period. That's like 40 handles right there to the downside. So let's just keep on playing this, man. Like, I don't know what where this is going to go. Let's just wait. Like, those aren't even, we didn't even get out of that many. Just exciting stuff as we're sitting here and enjoying the rest of the afternoon. So, all right, Adara, more news on this.
More comments from Donald Trump on tariffs. So, as mentioned earlier, Donald Trump did make some announcements about additional tariffs for Venezuela. Now he's clarifying those tariffs for businesses for doing businesses with Venezuela will be on top of existing tariffs. So not only will you face whatever other tariffs, you'll also face an additional tariff for doing business with Venezuela in those specific cases. It's also worth noting that he said that this April 2nd tariffs are going to be for everything across the board. Any reciprocal tariffs that want to go, regardless of industries, those are going to go into effect. So again, as mentioned earlier, there's been a lot of uncertainty still. But again, April 2nd is going to be the date we see a lot of, it sounds like hopefully some clarification on the tariff issue, guys. Back to you.
I mean, look, I think oh, yeah, and I was saying not all tariffs will be included. I mean, all this stuff is stuff that Adara will confirm with all of us. Yeah, what I'm saying is just like as traders here, like you have to be, the market's really not doing anything. It's just these intraday little quick moves, especially like when he was talking about more tariffs on the chip names, you know.
Well, look at the Apple wick right now.
Is there a huge wick on Apple?
This is real.
So, yeah. And
like if you come here, like this is a real candle on Apple. It was just sort of cruising to the upside. It was at 220 even. And then flush right into 219.60, and then it's right back up at the top. So like if you're sitting short into Apple, you need to have bids out there to go be able to grab that. Is the market's going to go instantly back in higher? It's just like one word gets said, the algo's dropped a bit, and something else gets said, and then they start putting it right back in. So that's the action that we're in. I'm still eyeballing that high of the day. I'm going to use a 15-minute chart here for Apple, and this is 220.70, and then the high is at 221.25. So that's the top that I'm looking for to be able to short it. And for those that said, hey, Neil, you're going to short that Tesla? I did say 280 this morning, and it's not anywhere near $280. It still has to make another leg higher. So I'm not thinking short into Tesla. We're just in three names that I think are relatively weak and want to keep it at that. I do believe I heard that we're going to go back to Adara.
Possibly, yeah, I thought so.
More tariff clarification coming from Trump. So just to clarify here, he actually said that not all tariffs will be included in April 2nd. So Again, we'll get some clarification, but apparently not all tariffs are going to be included here in the April 2nd reciprocal tariffs. He also said he's going to be announcing automobile tariffs in the next few days, echoing comments earlier from his cabinet meeting suggesting that these would come shortly. Again, the pharma tariffs he mentioned earlier, he said are more likely to be down the road. So auto tariffs shortly, and not all tariffs is still going to be included in that April 2nd announcement. So tariffs uncertainty continues. Back to you.
Tariff uncertainty.
Tariff uncertainty, which is what we have an election coming up in exactly a month. So we're going to, like here in Canada, we're going to decide, and then we'll see how that goes. That's why I don't think anything crazy is nothing is coming out of Canada in terms of us negotiating right now. Like there's zero chance it happens when we have an election almost zero chance it happens when we have an election coming up in just 1 month. Like Canadian election cycles, like they happen so fast. It's not like the U.S. Like you'll get ads every single day, and that's the only thing anyone's looking at, and then it's just gone before you can even think about it. But with the market moving higher, it's going to seem like a tight stop, but that's because it is, and I think it should be. It just broke that. We just broke that 70-80 area on, almost said Palantir, but with PayPal, prior lows. We shorted it back into 75. The stop was actually at like 83, 84, so that's where we get out on PayPal. General Motors has been, that one seems like it's still good for reload, and I already mentioned Apple as well. And no, KK, the election I'm talking about is in Canada. The Canadian election, federal election here is going to be on the 28th. So we'll get I almost said we'll get a new prime minister, but there's no guarantees of that. Regardless, not much is going to happen negotiation-wise.
I still feel like Carney would be new. You know, like Carney. Yeah. Like I know he's not new, but like if he holds it, then at least
we didn't vote him in. So you're right. Yeah, 100%. Right.
So he is, either way, Canada's sort of getting a new leader come, and 1 month is the lowest amount of time that they can do it.
What happened here is similar to it's not the same thing as Kamala going in for Biden because she was the VP, but in our case, we had like the sitting prime minister like step down, and then his party had to vote a new leader, and that leader just becomes the prime minister. So like there's like at least technically Kamala was elected. Like nobody voted for Mark Carney except for the people inside of his party. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean he won't win. But
it is very, very similar situation there.
It's similar.
ProfitX. Yeah. Fantastic. Top tier odds and total control. ProfitX brings you peer-to-peer picking. We're going to show this in a bit too. Open API access for automation, cost-efficient trading all in one place. It's like day trading your favorite sports. Make offers, match plays, and even manage your risk with diverse prediction options. Don't just place picks, exchange them. ProfitX, the smarter, faster way to play. And Neil and I talked about that a little bit. We're going to show you some ways to get in there. And you can make lines. You can sit on the bid, on the ask. You can wipe out the book. Like if you like that line, you can say, give me it all. Take it all the way up to -8 or whatever this point spread is. That's a great option. I'm excited to talk more about ProfitX. But for right now, let's go see what Adara has to talk about.
I just want to let you guys know here, as we got a little bit of a push down in the market, Donald Trump did leave the stage for this Louisiana announcement. Hyundai announcing an investment in the U.S. specifically for some plants in Louisiana, but also apparently they've got some plants in Atlanta, Georgia as well. They're going to be investing in. Also, CVX having a nice little bounce here. Venezuela's Interior Minister Cabello saying that they're going to be adapting to any U.S. decision with regards to his Chevron license. So willing to adapt with regards to any U.S. decisions on its Chevron license, says the Venezuelan minister. Now we get a nice push here from the bottom for CVX. Also, the coast is not clear when it comes to Donald Trump's comments. At 3 p.m., he's scheduled to speak here for a Greek independence celebration. So in about 5 minutes, depending on what time this event starts, we may get more comments from President Trump. Back to you.
Yeah, there's 2,500.
Me and Neil thinking about betting on the Raptors tonight.
Yeah, you want to put on the... Anyway, we're at ProfitX right now. We have some profit cash. And as you can see, like the Raptors are playing the Wizards, who they're both terrible teams. The Wizards just happen to be worse. So it'll be like both teams kind of trying to tank, and then who's going to be a little bit better. I mean, I don't mind. Like this is a spot. This is not a bad spot. Like,
I mean, we could create our own line. We could do a whole bunch of stuff right here.
There's a lot you could do. Let's think about it, because I wasn't really looking at the NBA. I don't even know who might be playing and who isn't playing. So before we slap anything down on them, we'll put our 2 cents. And I promise you this, we're putting some stuff down on the NCAA on Thursday. There's no question about that. But like you want, because it's like, it's basically like a trading market. So a lot of the spreads would be really wide until you get a little bit closer to the NCAA game. So you wouldn't even consider, you could sit out there and try to make like a ridiculous book and hope to get swiped on, say, betting against Alabama. That might want to do. But then,
is that who Michigan State plays, or?
No. I just think Alabama's the weakest one, and I would want to be able to bet the no on that.
Right.
And
You
the
have
best
the no
thing
option.
about it is that because you can bet no on a team, do I think they'll win the tournament? Usually you have to just pick who you think will win. In this case, you can actually put down on the no. And what it allows you to do is, if I don't want to bet against a number 1 seed in the Sweet 16, because I think they're obviously likely to win, I don't like the odds that I'm getting, you can bet the no for them to win the tournament, and then that gives you exposure that you can decide if they win their Sweet 16, what do I want to do with it? Do I want to hedge out? Or you can just hold on to it. You can take your profit if they lose. There's a lot of flexibility with that no bet, especially in the tournament. I think it's going to get really exciting also around the NFL draft as well, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities that get me a little bit excited with that.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be fun. We'll keep showing you guys. I think you should check it out, ProfitX, if you go back. You'll see the QR code. Check the link in description as well. We're just fans of that anyways, but we want to thank them for sponsoring.
Trading in sports?
That's for sure. Yeah, exactly. All right, so... Oh, no, I'm probably going to sneeze. All right, we just got another little bump.
Do you want me to come over? Just come to me for a second. Oh, no, I was trying to like do. I do it.
I mean, I muted it, but I don't know if muting was safe.
I sneezed
on that one.
30 times a show.
Oh no,
it's all good.
I might do it again.
Okay, so no, let's just come here for a quick little second because Kohl's is going absolutely on the day it's up 11%. A lot of stocks are up double digits and having strong days. But the thing about Kohl's here is a squeeze name. I know last week I said, watch out for GameStop because it's kind of doing that slow grind going into earnings. Well, Kohl's, I have them at a 50% short float, which I'm questioning. I'm going to go check another source in a second to see if that's true. But you want to tell me that a 50% short name just made a fresh bottom after losing everything. It just made a flat bottom break on gigantic volume and is now breaking it out. Relief Rally has room to $11 on Kohl's. That doesn't mean you buy highs at this time of day, but I think we got to watch this a little closer this week. I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole going long when there's only green candles from 2:30. So I'd like to see it show some kind of a dip and then try to participate in another move up. But super strong move over there in KSS. The long I'm looking for is, what to get off the pot, Bitcoin. Break this top or give us the dip into VWAP. And it is not breaking this high. It's about 88.5 or just a little bit above that, call it 88.6. And on IBIT, it's 50.35. It refuses to break this level. That's the long that I'm looking for sure. So we'll see if we get any opportunities to reload. It's still like General Motors, if it could pop into VWAP. And Intel is the other one that I want to try to work a few more shorts. And this is at least coming into its prior resistance at 24.35 or VWAP. I think we'll probably get Intel, given how strong the market is. I'm not entirely sure General Motors is going to move enough. We might just end up holding on to that, putting a trail on and seeing how far that one goes down in the power hour.
All right, yeah, we're looking for something else. If you guys want us to look at anything, we definitely will. I want to look at Mara, 88.5 for Bitcoin. Okay, what is... No, we haven't really looked at the BTC chart yet today, so let me just have a quick look at that. We'll see what's going on, and we can always look at IBIT. Wow, Mars 1440? At the beginning of the day, this was 1250 right there. We had it written on here as like kind of like a no-brainer play. If BTC goes up, then we definitely liked Mara. Oh, dentist is calling me. That's right, they have to reschedule. All right, I'll figure that out. Yeah, it's on. It was on them. So all right, yeah. So it's all good. But there it is. So daily. I just want to look to see what we're doing today. Let's go to a 5-minute chart here for this Bitcoin. Yeah, so that's why I thought Bitcoin right now near the high of the day, looking to break 88,750 or so. That is the high. Holding the 50-period moving average. I just called up a 5-minute chart. I'd like to just have a look over here, just to see if it gives us any sort of direction on a 5-minute. But yeah, definitely holding. Look at the 200 period. We haven't even looked at that yet today. So nice hold. 87.5 looks like where you might be in trouble. Good longer term buy level there, just for scalping if you're gonna take a look later tonight. But the 200 period on a 5-minute chart, yeah, really nice. And then holding the 50 pretty much all day. This has been pretty gold. So yeah, buying dips back to 88,000, 88,200 current 50 period moving average rate there. So forget about Mara. Well, not forget about it. It's up 17%. I mean, congratulations. Like it's right on here. It's the fourth idea on here. Rigetti, Amazon long, Tesla long, Rigetti, they're all longs. Rigetti long, Mara long, NVIDIA long. So they're all on there, but at the end of the day, it's about what you have, and we don't have this. I know you talked about you're out on IBIT. We already talked about that, but still, little different than the way Bitcoin looks, right? So you're going to have to wait about the top of the day, 50-50, and then might be a little different, the 200 period, not even close to it. But there we go. IBIT, remember, all these lines open up for me at 7:30 when I start these charts. So that's a little different. But yeah, still, even on the 5-minute chart, $50 holding pretty good, right? We've really respected this 50 period moving average. So yeah, it would be a dip into 50-20 right now for IBIT. Yeah, you got to respect what Bitcoin's been doing. Holding out 88,000. I mean, a lot of traders were wondering if Bitcoin was going to retest that 75, 76,000 over the weekend. It does look like that's a hard no. So, and yeah, and then as I said, this is definitely something to always watch with, especially with Trump talking right now. It's just one of those things where anybody asks him any questions. Charlie, okay, you want to look at BBAI? I've seen some BBAI talk.
That was flying today.
Was it? Well, it better
in the
be
midday.
Flying. Yeah, okay, 350. Yeah, good job on that one. We're still stuck long around $5. We had talked about this, up 16%. Nice, BBAI. Again, Big Bear, right? I mean, just another data AI company. Similar to PLTR, but not really similar as in the way that they're not even to scale or they don't have, the stamp of approval yet. They did make a business with Department of Defense, and I know that there's some airports, and just looking at some of their last earnings report, they had also a possible accounting error, which had a downside push there into that last, I guess it was Wednesday or Thursday of last week, creating this thing to, really hold some of these bottoms. But yeah, it might be there. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to buy lesser quality names. This is one of those. It's just a shot to see. It's coming from 10 all the way back in now, so we'll have to wait for Big Bear. But yeah, nice recovery day for them today for sure. You like to see. And, again, we talked about this with Raider Trader and a few other traders that are talking about buying the weaker names, like the names that have been hit. When we get days like this back to the upside, they're potentially going to be stronger than the rest of them. I don't know what IWM is up, but that's another example, up 2.3%. So again, an index that was really been hit hard, right, on a battle back day, especially when, maybe rates and all that and sort of some of the settling down of recessionary talk and whatever, that's going to help some small businesses. So stay afloat. I mean, not everybody's sitting on billions in cash, like, the big 100 are, I guess, in the S&P 500. So you got to just watch out here for IWM. That's going to be an aggressive play as well. Back off that 200. Nice move up there today. Up 2.5% for an index is pretty nice.
I can't believe John 316. Thank you for remembering this, John 316. Because I sold some Tesla like today, and then you're remembering that I put this point in. Neil, doesn't the wife want you to sell her Tesla? That's right. With the move down in Tesla, my wife was complaining about some of the Tesla because she owns some in her retirement account as well. And I am going to message her and say, hey, look, if you're really pensive about it, it's made a pretty nice bounce and you want to get out, you'd be in the money. I know that because I remember when she first got in was the same place. It wasn't 220 this time, but it was like the 220, I don't remember when, but like the time I got into it was probably sometime last year. So yeah, that would still be back in the money. If you don't like it, then
nice day today.
I'm actually going to mention it as well. But there was something else in the chat that I wanted to get to, and that was, did not even catch this, Nimrod gifting 10 members.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to you, Nimrod. Appreciate you so much, and thank you for that. And for anyone, you have to enable accepting gifts when you come into the chat. Oh, and you have to be a subscriber to be in the chat. Hit the like, hit that subscribe. It's a fantastic community we have right there. So let's go, Nimrod. We appreciate you. And John in the chat asked about thoughts on Coinbase. In general, I like Coinbase. I own Coinbase. I haven't bought Coinbase in quite some time. I'm trying to think the last time I got into Coinbase was, I remember bailing on trailing out of Silvergate, which I owned Silvergate on the way up at 47. Covered a bunch of it way before the high because that's how I roll. It went into like $150. I think I was mostly out by like 90 something. And then held on to a piece all the way back, sold it, I think when it broke 40, and then put that money into Coinbase, and I don't remember when that was, but I've just been holding coin. And I do like what it's starting to do. It's making a nice test of not this trend, like not that, but like this trend. So you've got since February of last year, like some serious dips in this stock, and it's respecting this trend line on Coinbase. So I think it's even this is at a good spot. Like you close above this 190 area, and the trend line is support to here, like 177. Like you could take this breakout, in theory, to that bottom to look for a retracement into 30s and 40s. There's a ton of charts that look exactly the same way, though. So you're really just trying to pick and choose. So in general, like it. I'm not trading it. There's no trade here that wouldn't be different from allowing IBIT to do something, which seems like not breaking out and really just pulling back into VWAP. So there's another push down with the market trying to head higher. So I think there's going to be a shot at this VWAP entry or closer to 50 on IBIT for us to grab. And then the other thing that's happening is you are getting a pushback into VWAP on General Motors. Going to look to see if I can get some more shares on this one. Right here. So yeah, we'll see if we do get into it. Lomu, did the rugging on Tesla start? I mean, I have it up. I don't think it's doing anything crazy. Like I have Tesla up even though I haven't traded it, just waiting for it to start picking up. But it's just going, look at it, it's just going sideways. For all the strength that we've seen in Tesla, what is this thing doing right now? Nothing. Like let the volume come in. Maybe it would be a false break of the high. They get a crazy wick that tries to break the high and then pulls right back in, then jump into a short, give it to the top. Maybe you get an acceleration on some kind of a upward trend break. Like, see, the problem is it's already broken that trend, so that's completely useless. You'd have to probably put it from the dip, like this dip in here. And even then, like that's not a trend line that I like because it's not steep enough, so who cares? Like it's not doing anything unless you're sitting in a long, considering where you don't want to take profit. I don't want to buy it this high, and I certainly don't want to just randomly short it. The trade desk, Tom Anthony's saying maybe that's something that was going parabolic.
A bunch of guys are looking at the trade desk.
Yeah, see, this is a more interesting if you were going to short something trying to break a trend, because it's doing something off those highs. Like it's giving you a strong push up where you could say, hey, it's starting to look like it wants to break this like uptrend that it's been in. It's only closed underneath like one time, and each time it's failed if you've tried to take this. But yeah, that looks a little more interesting in terms of a pullback on the trade desk. But yeah, Tesla doing nothing. Sorry to say it, but it's true.
So we're short now, the TQs, and it's at the high of the day right now. We're going to stop out above 66.40. So this is at the high. This is the new high, 66.32. So our average price is 20. This is kind of what we wanted. We're in about, like, if we talk about this, if there's like a 10 unit maximum, we're in about 3.5 to 4 units right now. And I'm not getting any more. I just, and I was just under my breath there. Probably heard, I was just like, probably need this to be long. Like going short into a rally day into the close, this is just when shorts start to cover, like people like me or whoever's, I'm not really I'm up on the TQs, but if this closes me out, then yeah, we'll be down or negative on this, on that punch out. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening. But if you've been short all day, hoping that you didn't break that, now is when the covers start to come in. This is like why it's power hour. So we're gonna have to wait to see if the futures can hold these levels or if they do start to come back in. So we'll wait if there's still more buyers up here. Would you want to buy the top of the day? I'm just worried about the covers not coming in. So if the shorts don't get nervous, that's what's going to blow this to the upside. And the fact that we just touched the high of the day, if we do pull back a little bit here, that would be great. But like anything back to the 200 or the 50 would be fantastic right now. So I'm going to try to get something out. Again, we're only short against 40s. So we're short 20s against 40s. That's 20 handles on a good position. I'm not going to say that it's not. If it does come in, great. I'm going to try to take, maybe 10% out for 10 handles. Then we'll want to take 30% maybe out for 20 handles because that'll give us that 1-to-1. And we're always trying to, especially with futures, trying to play with house money. If we can nail it, put some money in our pocket, then let it ride. That's been what's working for me. So let's just wait. Whenever we get stopped out of trades, it's because we just get stopped out, sorry, not get stopped out, how we lose the most amount of money on trades is, and I show it to you today with NVIDIA, is where, here, I'll just show it to you right now, because we already just talked about the futures. If it goes, it goes. It's just like this, short, like where we don't believe that it's what's gonna happen. So like right here, I guess it is about being stubborn. It's not really revenge trading because it's so fast. It's just like we're short right there into the high of the day, right? But then, so being short right there against 120.75, that's what all these shorts are. So that's fine. But then once it gets stopped out right there at this high of the day right there of 121.10, still 30, 40 cents worth of risk, completely fine, completely manageable, no problemo. But then I have one other short here. Like we shouldn't have tried it again, only to get stopped out again. And it's not like it's a huge hit or anything, but to get stopped out again at 120.30, it's like this extra 20 or whatever cents right there that we lost was probably on a good sized position because we weren't giving ourselves that much room. That's what kills. So it's just like getting back in. If you're gonna get stopped out, then I feel like, especially here at the end of the day, just get stopped out and that's that. So here's a nice run. Like there's our fills right here at the high of the day. I know that we have one a little bit ahead of that, but we already talked about 40s being our stop. So we're going to wait to see exactly what happens now. Give it a little bit of room as we are pulling back in. The position's now flat for us. We're short at 20s. It's at 20s. So hopefully we will come back in just a little bit here. But just to give everybody a heads up, that's what we're trying to do right now with the futures. Take out about 10 or 15% for 10 handles because it's a decent win, and then try to carry the day for the 1-to-1 and hopefully have enough for the close. It's only AAPL and KB Homes tonight.
AAPL is an interesting one.
It's very interesting.
Very interesting. That's the Sam Altman
crypto.
It's
uranium.
Yeah, energy.
Oh no, AAPL is
I thought that was
it is. Yeah. IonQ is the crypto.
Yeah. So the thing about that is none of those companies are doing much in terms of actual money being brought in yet. It's just the hope game. So it's going to be. I think it'll be volatile. Hopefully, it'll be volatile. That's what we like. I saw in the chat like you guys aren't talking about AMD. I think we mentioned AMD a lot in the morning show, despite the fact that the AMD's up 8%.
Isn't that 114 or something? That's what last time I looked.
Yeah, almost crazy. 115 now. Now, admittedly, I did short AMD, and I waited for it to make a top at 114 and then break. And again, I'm missing a few of my charts do this, but it's just my charts, not my black charts. Only the ones I'm showing you. So we made some higher lows going into that high, broke trend, shorted it, and then it immediately ran into a brick wall. Like I was short at 113.60, and at 113.30, it just runs into a wall and starts going sideways off of that. So I'm like, well, like why even? I didn't even bother giving it to the original stop. The second I saw it do this little barcode on that much strength, I just got the you-know-what out of Dodge after scalping it. So that's the only reason. That's the only reason we're not down on it, because I just said, forget this. Someone is accumulating it this far from VWAP, that far off the high. And I like AMD, and we've talked about this. It's now closing above the 50-period moving average. This is the first close above the 50 since, what day is this? This is October 28th. Oh, no, sorry, check that, because it did it on the 25th, and then held on the Monday. Right after that was where it resumed the trend to the downside. So this is pretty significant for AMD. But I need to see it hold out tomorrow. If it holds the 50 and even on a dip bounces off at $10, 110 I should say, I think AMD's got a nice little short-term long going for it. But this is on the list of stocks that I think it's more of a I put it in the trade category just for myself. Like it's not. I wouldn't want to hold this one. I don't like it as much for that kind of a play. But it looks really good for the first time in a while. This could be breaking that 50 period. So I think there could be a trade. I don't want to jinx it because, as I said, if I'm looking for it to hold something on the daily chart, you can't just wick over it for something to happen. It needs to close above, hold it tomorrow, and then you've got something going. I might just give up on. I don't want to give up. It still looks like it wants to break out this 50-35. It's not beating VWAP, but just look at this. This is weird. Why can't it go? The market is trying to go. Bitcoin is trying to go. It's just not happening. So the closer we get to the close, it's like, you know what, or get off the pot. I did get a reload, not everything here on GM at VWAP, but we'll get out in front of 51.10 to 51.20 as it's got a defined range. Ever since Trump was talking, or President Trump was mentioning auto tariffs.
You can just call him Donald. Don't worry about it.
Donald? Yeah, we're on a first name basis.
I think so. You're a first name basis.
Actually, I tell you the story. One of our good friends from high school actually met and somewhat knew Ivanka.
Oh, Ivanka.
Because it was, you know, you do those like.
Tiger Woods is dating DJ TJ's ex.
Well, because in high school they have those like go to Paris when you're like a French.
Right.
Like, so like if you did like French at a higher level in high school, they always have these like trips. You go to Paris and you're like it's supposed to be learning. So we have someone that went on one of those, and there were students in a huge group from all over North America that were in the same thing, and Ivanka was in it.
But
so
Ivanka
one of our
back
friends
then would have been so young, no?
Yeah, because I think
an unknown.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like it wasn't
40?
a huge deal, but it was anyway. So it's just a weird anecdote. Like it does. I don't have a story to tell beyond that.
Yeah, just one of our.
Because I'm thinking back and I'm like I probably shouldn't tell more. Like there's just some nonsensical stuff that happened at that trip. None of it involved Ivanka, but
like a Tiger Woods.
You can imagine what would happen with a bunch of high school kids going to Europe.
Yeah.
Not that our friend was doing anything crazy. This is like the one friend who would not take advantage of all the fun that you could have.
In Europe, I guess.
No, it's like, of course, the one dude who probably would have the least amount of fun going to Paris in high school is the one of our friends that went. I'll leave it at that.
That's always the way it is.
You know, I won't say his name, but
we got out of barely anything there, man. I was just like I said, like maybe just we're wrong being short. That's very, very possible. And we're definitely not staying wrong for long. Right. Time-wise, because if we break the high, then we're going to get out, and that's going to be 40s, which the high's a little south of that, or north of that. But I just covered some at 16s was the bet. Like, it's basically nothing. I canceled what I had at 10. It was just like, let me get out at 10% right there. So it didn't even really change my average price. It gave me to 21s. So it's just like nothing really. So we make 5 cents, but it doesn't really matter, only on 10%. I was just getting to be like, maybe we should get some more out, but looks like I should have gotten out of them all if we wanted to change our mind. So that's for sure. All right, we did see some of the home builders. We have KBH coming after. So let's just have a quick look to see what's going on there. KB Home, $61. There was Lennar last week. What is going on here? So, you know, they're not making any more land, so housing is going to be there. But, you know, a lot of residents stuck with not the greatest mortgages right now. Rates, you know, if like you're not renewing your mortgage, like if you're in a mortgage that you got 10, 15 years ago, you're just carrying that as long as you possibly can. So new home sales, you know, 3%. Those have been a little lower, but we'll wait to see right here for KB. It's like at a great little level there. We'll hear what they have to say. Right back into January of 23 right now of 24, these housing names. So all the way back in a little bit here, giving it all back. That's January 25. So yeah, we're back about a year and couple months, right back into these lows again. So watch out for that name. And then we said we also had AAPL tonight. There it is. Something about Airbus. So that's good. Supply chains improving for Airbus. So that must mean Boeing, probably good as well. AAPL, another one of those names that, you know, what goes up must come down. This reminds me a little bit of Palantir. Although Palantir is a little higher retraced back than what AAPL has. With earnings tonight, this is another name to watch out for as we talked about some of the uranium names coming into play again there. AAPL, the one, the Sam Altman. So we'll wait $24. I'm not even sure what the story is with Sam and that. But that's what I remember this stock about as well. All right, so MLGO, yeah, Sharif, I actually paid for shorts for this for him, and it was $1.30 per 100 shares. So that means that I know we have to pay for shorts. It's only up 400%.
You can probably arb
right now there today. Where is this name coming from? So it's apparently already. All right.
It's at the literal
I was just going to say, like, yeah, we've already been here. $1.30. It costs nothing.
No, it's probably gone up though.
No, probably not, man. I only got it like 2 hours ago. So, anyways, it's straight up. So we'll have to wait. I bet you could still get it for that price.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. So still cheap here at Real Trading. We give a shout out to Real Trading. $1.30. So 1,000 shares, like 1 penny is $10. So it's not even.
That's insanely cheap.
Insanely cheap pricing there for that. But there goes MLGO. And we just showed you, this is like, if you're in it, Like when you can justify your out, like this is 1180s, that's right where it is right now. If you can justify it on a chart and just say, okay, I got out because of that, at least you'll look back, and even if this thing goes to $20, what the idea is to get out of some so that at least you're playing with a little bit of house money. So if it does go back down and you do like the stock, and let's just say it winds up tomorrow or the next year anywhere, even around 850, still a great level. Like if you're long down here, 850 is great, but what's even better is getting out here, buying it back at 850. So just be careful with that. You don't want to do that strategy all the time. Like, you know, when I got out of Palantir, some at 50, some at 60, I didn't have an opportunity to buy it back. So you may not have that opportunity again, but MLGO with that nice move to the upside, let me call it.
Well, micro algo. Let's not say micro algo in the same sentence as Palantir.
It's split back mid-December.
I mean, yeah, but
no. I'm just saying about how you may not be able to get.
But look at this. Look at the daily. I'm just saying the daily chart on it. If it wasn't so obscenely strong and more organized at that cheap. Usually you'd be thinking can we come to the chart for a second? Usually I'd be thinking, can you find a short that is reasonable? The problem is the tape is really strong. But it's done some pretty nasty moves to the downside on this. It just doesn't seem like an obvious area to be able to get in. Like if you were taking trend breaks, okay, congratulations. When it broke this trend would have been here, and you would have been risking 40 cents to make 60 to 70 on a stock with that kind of strength. That kind of stinks. Risking 35, 40 cents to make 60 to 70 on a stock that's up at this point would have been 300%. So the trend reversal has already not been very good on this stock. I can't think about that. It's like, does it give you a failed break of a high? Or maybe you just don't try to short it today, wait for it to actually gap down, and then take it on a day where it's not doing this. Because it's shown you on the daily chart that if it starts heading to the downside, it has no trouble continuing. So I'm trying to get a few more shares here in GM at VWAP because I got some out in front, and then we're bidding into the low. Intel's giving us no entries. IBIT, I might move IBIT. It's not doing anything. See if I can't find something else. Maybe I'll just put up that micro algo stock just to see if maybe it halts and there's something crazy that happens we can work off of. But see Bitcoin, not moving. It's ridiculous. It refuses to move, so there's no point at all. The others, to look out for the first big red volume bar. Yeah, like wait for micro algo to do something distinct and then try to take a look at it. So for now, we're just sort of hunting for what comes next. Like I said, reload in GM. I'm going to get the early look. I don't know what, I always get this at 3 o'clock. I just have to click OK.
Yeah, I get that too, yeah.
We have, like real trading, we have the overnight, like Australia, you can trade all of that stuff. What's interesting for the early look is there's no rebalancing today, yet you still have some big early look numbers, kind of like it was Friday or something, like Ford 9 million, CNQ 4.5, Lumen 2.2 million, GM, which this is a bit interesting. The fact that GM after the bad news is an early look 2 million buy. Yeah, that kind of makes me want to think about not layering into this one in front of VWAP when I see a buy imbalance. I'm not going to add to that. Not when the imbalance is looking like a buy. That doesn't really matter. They're HPE 1.8, BNS is 1.4 as well. So there's some decent size imbalances. And sometimes you will see that after we have the third Friday. And that big S&P rebalancing and witching. But Ford at 9 million to buy and GM, it makes you think twice. Like I just canceled an offer. I was sitting at VWAP right here to reload.
Get down.
And now I'm not going to do it. I just feel like if it's a buy imbalance, we don't need to turn this into a lose. I'll just get out if it breaks VWAP. And part of that's because of the imbalance in there. So I'll get out essentially just over break even on GM because of that buy imbalance on it and Ford.
I've been piecing some out of the TQs here. It's not going past like 17 and 18. I have another bid at 16s. My price is getting better because we're getting out of it, but it's not getting really realistically any better. It's just the same trade. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys Amazon. I mean, this is a hot dog one today for me, for sure. And I think for a lot of you guys, if you've been following what we've been talking about there on Amazon. Again, it's been my best trade of the day. And we're still in a little piece. I was waiting to see about this very high of the day. I didn't have an offer up here. I was hoping that we could get going, especially if the futures broke higher. I know I'm short the futures, but just wanted to see about Amazon. So right now, I'm going to finally put in a stop for AMZN. We're long here at $200. Well, we're long at $200.37. Our best out is kind of what we were waiting for again, 203.25s. I was hoping to break that, but looks like we're not going to. So I'm going to put an out at 202.30. Basically 20, let's just go 24 is 25. So we'll change that. Actually, I don't even have a stop on this right now because it was so far below. 202, let's just call it into the 40s. So 202.48, we'll get out. If it breaks back into there, that'll be roughly this 200 period moving average. We'll get out there if it does break lower. If it does break lower, my futures trade is going to be rocking. So I don't even care about this trade, but we do have an upside target of 203.25. So if it does come up there, I think that's good risk to reward. 30 or 40 cents upside, 30 or 40 cents downside, and then we'll just play in the middle and hope that the market comes in. It's just, we just talked about a couple names barcoding, and it looks like the same thing's happening right now again. So we just have a bunch of outs here. I was like, let's get down. Like, wanted this to break this level. It didn't do it. So without making the last trade of the day, you know, the biggest loser of the day or anything like that, I'm not going to average into this. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If the market wants to fall down, fine. We're now 20 minutes away from those imbalances that will hit at 350. So still lots of time for this market to move, but I'm not really seeing any negative headlines. Bitcoin's holding up pretty good. ES is holding up real nice.
Something happening in Uber right now.
There's something happening in Uber? Okay, well, you want to go to your screen?
Well, we can go to my screen, but I don't know. I haven't seen a story. I haven't heard a story.
I have to go get a
but
water.
that is the biggest volume candle of the day, at least the last couple here on Uber. It was trending down for most of the day, now trying to break out at VWAP. I haven't really seen anything here. So, yeah, like there's nothing. I haven't heard anything in my ear. There's nothing on the wire. I know what Dara's looking for at any time we see something like this. But yeah, Uber, big volume spike in Uber. It's back above VWAP. Let's see if it can hold and if we actually have a story here or if it's a bit of a nothing burger. The other thing, and we're going to go to Dara, I just wanted to point out that micro algo made a break of that high, but it's a little bit of a topping tail candle. So they did do a parabolic move higher. I'm not shorting it, but it is starting to look like it's finding a bit of resistance above that 13 area. So just be careful if you're in this name. Let's go to Adara.
Just keep an eye here on Uber. With regards to the catalyst, I'm seeing this circulate on X. I'm unclear as to if this is the reason, but this morning, Business Insider reported that the U.S. Army is opening its military base gates to Uber and Lyft drivers to give soldiers more options for getting around the base. Again, this came out, though, before the bell. There's no new update to the story as far as I can tell, and even where I'm seeing it circulate on X, it's not huge circulation. Lots of retail or social media attention for UBER in the last little bit. But again, other than this hours old catalyst, not much that I'm seeing, guys. Back to you.
All right.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know. Like it could actually.
Right, Neil.
I just realized I should have looked at Lyft. Because like maybe Lyft was doing something.
Live on the air right here. Pick one of these because I'm not gonna hold your fortune. All right, so we got fortune cookies today. We talked about that to go with our chili chicken, which I stole some. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh my god, pretty good.
So I'm gonna be sending
delicious,
them
dude. It was
that
delicious.
report immediately on that one. All right, let's see what happens here. I'm gonna relate this to trading, so somehow. So
that's always easy. I think with these kind of fortunes, you always can. You want to go first?
Sure.
You know what? Just for jokes, I should play these numbers just for jokes. I don't really play the lottery, but I don't usually do.
These are pretty good numbers on mine. You are going to pass a difficult test. I mean, let's go. You mean
another one?
Another one? I mean, every day I feel like we're battling difficult tests here today. But if we're going to pass, it's going to start with the TQ. So that just started to go down. So that was good. So we get our fill there at 16 for about 9 handles. So yeah, maybe that's true.
Down.
What's up with yours?
Be prepared to receive something special. So I'm going to take that to mean one of two things. Either it means Michigan State's going to win on Thursday.
Nah, that's not special enough.
It's special enough to me. Or the Toronto Blue Jays are going to win their home opener. But neither one of those things are going to be true. Actually, what I'm hoping it is, I haven't said to... my daughter's trying out for...
Track and field?
No, their school's having a talent show.
Oh.
And so she decided to try out. And more... I'm so proud of her over this. Because what she wanted to do is play the recorder to a certain... It's like a Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga song.
I know that song.
She doesn't play the recorder. So last week, and like a week before this, she's like, I want to play this song and I want to try out for this because I want to try do something. And so every single day last week, before dinner, or bed. She was just practicing every single day, learning the recorder to do it. So and I just said, you know what? I don't care whether you make it or not. The fact that you're willing to put in the work, and she was getting frustrated because she was trying to learn the fingering, because it's all brand new. It's not like she doesn't play the instrument, and she was putting in that work. I said, win, lose, or draw. The fact that you have the balls to.
No, because they shouldn't try out. No, in my opinion, there should be no tryouts for talent shows.
Fair enough.
Especially in grade school. Because I just know that our kids don't have to try out because it's only for that reason.
It's a lot of pressure.
No, but it's like, it's not just a tryout, but it's like, it's more good for her trying it.
Yes.
Right? And like, if she wants to stand up there in front of the school, it's not like, I mean, again, I don't know, like, will kids mock her?
I was talking to another parent that because of that, they didn't want to try it.
Right.
And it was just like, they felt the pressure of the whole, like, trying out, and then one person from the class might get a chance. But I love fortune cookies, A, because they're delicious, and B, I don't know, it always gives you the positive good feel.
They tell you the fortune, you know? Maybe we shouldn't be doing this while we're live on air, but I don't know. I brought them back.
That's really loud.
I didn't realize how crunchy these things. I've only had about 4,000 of these in my life. All right, throw it to Joe. Joe, what's going on over there? Throw it to Adara for something. Neither one of us can talk. Ramin, you got to go over there. Adara, just say something.
I can say something. The markets are moving. A little bit of a push down here in the NASDAQ. So that's happening. A little bit of a decline here. As you can see, we get to that 491 level, and then we start to push to the downside with lower highs and lower lows. So we make the high of day, then we push a little bit lower. Please stay tuned with Neil and myself for the market recap show at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have earnings from Oklo and KB Homes, Oklo 405 and KB Homes about 410. Oklo, really large expected move as well. Previous move about 25%. So this thing can go, and if they're done eating their fortune cookies, we'll go back over there.
Oh man, thanks for that. We're just about.
Oh, I'm gonna finish the cookie.
So that's. Oh, you are. I was gonna say, okay, we probably won't.
No, but I'm gonna time it so that I'll do it when Sean is.
Those things to digest. Talking. What I was saying is, like, once they're in there, it's like it just sucks up everything, and you can't talk. You can't. It's like that cinnamon challenge. It's like all of a sudden, neither one of us could talk.
Oh, I did cocoa. Is that different?
Cocoa?
I did the cocoa challenge at a kegger, and it was a Laurier.
You tell me, how did it go?
I don't know. A few people.
I don't think it went that well.
Okay, all I will say is do not do the cinnamon cocoa challenge. It is incredibly unsafe. Like you could choke. I found no trouble doing it because I can do the saltine challenge no problem. So for me, I thought it was no big issue, but it is challenging. The problem is if you inhale at the wrong moment, like you can bring all that powdered in and then you start choking. It's not a safe thing to do. It's just dudes do stupid stuff in university, so I did it, and it is what it is. But yeah.
All right.
that was an interesting kegger that.
Yo, the Bomba. If I look at TTD and it's not pumping right now, then it's going to be ban-hammered.
No,
okay,
it's been pumping all day.
TTD. No, but I'm just saying right now, to be spamming the chat like this.
Dude, it is pumping.
There it is. So that's what I was going to say, because we're fine to do that. And TTD right now, the trade desk, I wanted to look at it for you. So there you go. The trade desk now starting to go higher. Again, we talked about this with Sharif. He talked about ads and revenues, and his buddy works for a place, I don't know if it was at Google or an ad time, and all they were doing was pumping up Meta and getting into there. But the trade desk has been hit lately. I'm not even sure what the exact reason is. I always thought they were an ad business for online ads and hosting and selling them and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to have to find out exactly that. But thank you so much to La Bomba there or La Bomba? I'll have to look at what it was again. I was just talking about it. But look at that. Like, I always call this kind of stuff data mining. It's probably not the right word, but you can go back and I find you can always find key levels that come into play. I don't know why this particular level right there on that day must have been an earnings call as well. Down there to $55, $56. That looks like a really good level there for the trade desk. So I've liked the stock, especially, again, it was one of the Kramer faves. We talked about Kramer a little bit and some of the names that he looks at. So I really like that one. I was saying last week that I actually made a mistake. I bought way too much JP Morgan and in the wrong account. I bought in the swing account, not in the RRSP account. So I'm actually now sitting on this is now a few days in a row, and I was going to look to see, because now I can just take it out. We bought basically here, like if it was in the RRSP, the amount that we put in doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that for my swing account, and I was saying this to Mateo, it's like even if I bought Tesla down there at 222, like I would have put in like a couple $1,000s worth or something like that because I would have expected to average in and all this kind of stuff. So the thing is that, and that's for the swing account, I would have just took it, maybe get out like what Neil was talking about, you get some out today, you get some out tomorrow, whatever, because you're playing that angle. But in the longer term accounts, like your 401k, your Roth, something like that, you tend to buy good names and then just try to hold them, especially when you get down to the 200 period. So that's what I was doing with JP Morgan right here when we bought it on this day, but it didn't go into my 401k, which is fine. It's allowed to be like this. It didn't over contribute or anything. It was from cash. So that now we're all the way up here. So I was thinking about getting something out in and around this 250. So maybe give it one more day. I hope this isn't the unicorn day this week, but maybe we can continue to go up. I mean, realistically, 200 period to 50 period, just talking about, you guys have talked about wanting to know maybe more swing trade account type things. I'm going to get some more out here on the futures, which we just did at 12s. That JP Morgan, I may dip out of maybe 25 to 30% of that one. And again, that was like one of the ultimate fat fingers there going into the wrong account. But here we go. Okay. Something about Twitter's in our ear. Oh, the director of something just left Twitter, but I don't think X, I don't know if that matters. Right, so 66. I just want to say that my next out is 66.05. So here it comes in. We talked about this trade. Neil's in two shorts as well. We're in these two shorts right now. So here we go, man. This is exactly what we're not expecting, but hoping for here into the close. And whenever you put on a trade, that is what it is. You've done the work. You've looked at it. You think the odds are in your favor. So right there, we did take the short into that. And remember what we talked about. We're short at 20s, looking for 40s. So the fact that it's just coming into the O's here gives us the 1-to-1. So now we can start to happily take out a little bit more. So here we go. There we go. We're at 05s for a big piece. Oh, we got missed there. Hopefully we can get
FBI director. Dude, I almost punched.
So they just said that there's an So I guess Trump is probably doing this. FBI director looking into the Tesla vandalisms. Come on, FBI director.
Yeah, but
No, but the FBI, honestly, someone scratching up or lighting a couple of Teslas on fire, I get it. I feel like that's maybe like a more municipal problem. Like, I don't know exactly if that's a county or a sheriff or whatever.
It's a little
Getting
crazy.
The FBI involved seems to be a lot.
Well, you'd have to think there's some kind of a conspiracy.
Yeah, maybe
against the publicly traded company. Like that. That would have to be the
racial stuff. Like I know that there's
that would have to be the example.
Some swastika stuff that's been going on.
I could see an angle for that because it would, but you have to prove there's like an organization behind it and a conspiracy. The only reason I was like, oh my goodness, because it's at the high of the day and I heard FBI first, and then the rest of the story came in the ear.
I know.
Your first thought is if it was FBI, you're going to be punching short. Then you hear the rest of it and it's like it's not doing anything, so forget about it. By the way, MLGO, are you kidding me? MLGO is now at $15. $14.88 is the high, but I mean, same thing. This is going absolutely nuts. At some point, you got to feel there's going to be another challenge. It now does have a very steep trend. You're just running out of time for anything to happen on this in terms of like really big follow through, because the later you get in the day, to me, the greater chances that a big move or pullback will wait until the aftermarket. And when it gets really tight into the close, I think that's going to be potentially the case. So it was AMD, and then I was about to talk about AMD because AMD is looking like it could break trend here. As a matter of fact, it might be doing so as we speak. So from last time I was in and it barcoded off that level, it did break trend. So I'm looking, I'm going to short this in front of 114.5, and we're going to go to Sean in a second. But I did get out. Remember, there's a buy imbalance on GM, so I got out on the break of VWAP. So I said, look, it's buy imbalance. It's still 1.5. I'll just get out of it as it breaks VWAP and not try to fight that. But I do want to get here into AMD as it is broken trend and want to catch this into the close. Let's go and take care of some business.
All right, traders, listen up. QR code, very important. Scan it. It's e-signal. It's your first month free. We're waiving the fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite charting advantage. Analyze, strategize, and capitalize on their platform. It is lightning fast, instant data, game-changing charts, predictive backtesting. Go back and look at, did it work? Did your backtesting fill up? What was going on with some of the indicators? I keep saying I'm going to show it, I will. Right now we're in the futures trade. Global markets at your fingertips, all on one platform. They use a very unique system where it's entitlement based. I guess it's not super unique, but you can get what you pay for. So it's not just the basics. If you want NASDAQ entitlements, they're yours. If you want Brazilian markets, they're yours. Contact them today. All the best traders, all of us around here now using e-signal charting. So make sure you do scan the QR code that used to be on your screen and now is somewhere in description. So go find that. Thank you to e-signal. Follow that. All right, so just real quick again. Yeah, look, I don't know. We'll there it is. FBI director says the increased number of violence here. I have the story right here. I'll just tell you. Yep. Adair's got many news sources. I just read this one straight here from Reuters. This is FBI director says investigating the increased violent activity towards Tesla and over the last few days, taking additional steps to crack down and coordinate the response. So we'll wait to hear about that. Obviously, they must be moving on something. So we'll wait about that story coming through and just interesting stuff. I don't think it's game-changing for Tesla or anything. But the TQs, we did get some good covers. I'm still at 05. It looks like we've bounced off again at 07 there. We did not get to fill at 05 last time it came in, so we're going to wait to see if we can get that. We've just gotten two more little pieces out, 5% each, out at 14s. It's only 10 minutes now until there's nothing we can do. Whether or not these imbalances come higher or lower is up to the trading gods, so I'm not leaving that up to that. So we'll wait, start to get more out of the TQs. What's up, Adara?
So here's some context if you guys did want to know a little bit more about it. I didn't initially report on it because it wasn't moving the stock. It came out, I think, a couple minutes before it was mentioned here on the show. But basically what happened is apparently, initially the New York Post reported this, then FBI spokesman Ben Williamson confirmed it. But the FBI has actually launched a task force specifically to crack down on Tesla vandalism. So that's what's happening there, working with ATF. In order to crack down on violent Tesla attacks. This follows a situation a couple hours earlier where some incendiary devices were found in a Tesla showroom. So that's a little bit of context for anyone who cared. Though, as mentioned earlier, not supermarket moving, certainly not as of now. Back to you.
I would hope that we can agree that regardless of what you think about something, blowing stuff up and setting stuff on fire is just never a good look.
But you said it's like people are laughing about it. Late night talk show hosts are laughing about it.
I don't watch most of late night, but it was on the it was the Daily Show, and I don't remember. Look, I only know Jon Stewart. I don't know any of the other backup hosts that also do it by name. But so I don't know the name of the host. That when he was doing the story, people in the crowd were like laughing, and then even the dude was even like, "Oh, so you guys like basically vandalism and arson now?" Like. Even he was surprised at that. It's like, come on. I don't know. You don't need
Kimmel does. I mean, Kimmel probably drives a Tesla, and the guy talks like that. So
it's just, I don't know. Like, to me, there's nothing. One of the coolest things about living in a place where you get to say what you want and live how you want should be that you don't take it that far. Like, you can protest something without having to blow stuff up, man. And it's cool to do so because we're free. But anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Free.
Well, you know what I'm getting at. There's nothing that's 100% perfect. Like, we don't live in a perfect society. But I'll tell you right now, just even from understanding the way that the government works, say in like the West Indies where my family is from, and the degree to which how things get done, and it's just a little bit different, the assumption that you'll probably have to bribe a person here or there, be happy about the fact that you live here. Anyways, AMD is trying to bump to the upside. We'll go back to trading for a second before I get myself into trouble there. So it did break trend in here, but I didn't get it, so it took the barcode, and now it wants to try to break out this high. So I'll give it up at about that $0.50. We only have 5 minutes to go till the imbalances, or 7 minutes to go. So first things first, we're not getting the VWAP on Intel. I cancel that order. I'm just going to sit at the low of the day at this point. It's not really doing much of anything, so there's no point having a trail on. I don't want to use Frex. Let's put maybe like BATS or EdgeX. So let's go down. I keystroked this morning to Frex like 3 times today.
Yeah.
I don't want to use that gateway. So I'm just going to bid the low of the day and then maybe adjust to trail to somewhere like 24.3. So I don't think we're making any more trades in that. I canceled my IBID orders because that does not want to go anywhere. But yeah, the market is actually somehow blasting higher. We took our shot on the trend break of AMD, but I'll be the first to admit, ideally, you're short here, which would be like 114. Like I'd be short above 114.50 on that way down. Didn't get it. I'm shorting it way off of that trend break. And because of the time of day, I'm going to give it a tight stop. There's just not enough time for it to work. At this point, it's almost like a glorified, does it hold this area till the imbalances? And if they come out my way, then great, you get the dip. If they don't, then you're just getting stopped out for like 25, 30 cents on AMD. So it's kind of one of those types of plays there on AMD. We'll see what happens. Like I said, only about 5 minutes to go. The Ford imbalance is way down. GM stuck around at 1.5 million, but Ford went from like 8 million to 1.9 million. Ford's an it's not even $11.
No, $10.50?
It's a $10 stock. So a couple million shares on Ford of imbalance is pretty insignificant. It's done 75 million on the day. And that MLGO, I didn't short it, but I can tell you some people are definitely trying to short the stock. It looks like it's having a little bit more trouble. You can see it on the bid, and you can see it with the acceleration on the tape. It's not nearly as sort of crazy as it was before. But I think you're seeing some people start to take profit. 440% is fantastic. I would hope people are bringing the register on that if they have the opportunity to. We've seen this where you get a gap down the next day about 1 million times.
So less than a third left right now, and I'm just going to get some more out at 19s. We just got some 17s. We're getting some 19s. We actually got some 21s there as well. And just trying to get out. If it falls down and those imbalances are somehow short side into a 1.74 market, then fine. But I'm thinking they're probably going to be north. I do have a bid at do we just get filled something lower there? No, 05 is my lowest bid. Nah, it needs to be a little bit higher than that. So we'll put one out at 11s right now. I'm just trying to get out of 5% at a time here, just in case it does come a little bit of a sell. Remember, I mean, just because I think it might come a bid doesn't mean I don't have any I have some knowledge about it, just I don't know, just because what we're seeing right now in these imbalances are more buys than sells. It doesn't mean that they're going to stay that way. And then all of these are all New York names, so it's the NASDAQ that I'm obviously worried about trading, the TQQs. So we'll get some more covers there. I just put a bid at 11. And what we mean by bidding, so again, Neil and I will trade, this is equity, but I call it the futures just because I don't want to trade the actual futures contract, but when we're bidding, it means I'm sitting here at 66.11s. So this has to come in and print down there. So we have to get down 4 or 5 pennies, and then we'll get that fill. And that gives us different advantages here, being on a prop floor. It's same as all of you. I mean, if you guys have a maker-taker model, if I get run into, then I'll get paid. If I have to get out, like if I say, I want to buy 17s right now, then that is a taker model. So I'll take those shares out of the market and I'll have to pay for the right to get whatever price I want, as long as it's on the ask when you're buying, right? So that is that maker taker. So we'll sit down there. We just got some more out at 17 as we were talking there. So we'll wait to see, like right now, I'm going to put a bid now at 17 for 5%. If it comes in, fills me up, then not only do we get a better price than 20, but we'll also get a small rebate. But the rebate is nothing. I would always take a gross trade over rebate on a stock like this. You always want to make the penny because the rebate is about 1/10 of a penny after all the fees and all that is sorted out. So it's not like a huge game on something like this. If a stock was a little slower and the bid or the ask mattered a little bit more, then I would be a little more likely to do that more often. But so for right now, we'll just wait. Our stop is still at 40s. So now that we're pretty light on it, we've taken out some shares, we got some more out, less than a third, probably about 20 to 25% left on this name. We still have our outs set up. Oh no, we don't. We don't have an offer? What? This is where we're supposed to be out for Amazon at the high of the day.
We're right at the top.
So let's just do it right now. I'm going to get out of Amazon. So same kind of way. Oops, I'll show you. I just offered 30s, and there it is. We are now out. So we just offered 30s on Amazon. So just to end that trade, $3. So that one, we haven't hit this yet today today we've done it, but that's $3 there, Dollar Club on Amazon. And this was an all-day trade. So low of the day, basically right off the open, right into the high of the day again. And just the reverse psychology, this is upside. So what if there's a sell imbalance on Amazon? We just don't want to give it up. So let's take the money. We just got out there at 30. Good for us. We'll wait for that. And then now we wait 10 more cents. As you can see, here goes the TQs right back up to the upside. So we will get locked and loaded for these imbalances. And good thing we took some more out. That's about it. So now we don't have to worry too much about this trade, as the imbalances are now just over 1 minute away. We'll get it set up so we only see New York and NASDAQ and not these pre-brokers. Right there, but there it is. Is that what Tesla's at?
Yeah, just very quickly, the stop for like the 30 cents did not hold on AMD till 350, so I'm just out. Ideally, you get to sit in that one till the imbalances come out there, but I'm not going to let it start breaking into the highs early, as we mentioned. So we'll have a little bit of LFT because of that AMD there, and as Sean said, the imbalances will come in about less than 1 minute. I'm going to flip one of my charts over to NVIDIA, because if I'm anticipating that we're going to have imbalances, it's NVIDIA, and maybe now Tesla, just given how ridiculous it's been today. 11.5%, Tesla up at 277. I can't believe, of course it's going to, watch it get to 280 right as the market is trying to close, because that was the level that I was looking for. There's all kinds of resistance there. It's a 200 period moving average. I think I just got Intel on the bids. Okay, so that's good. I just got out of Intel, so we're flat there. It's a 200 period moving average. It was a prior massive level at 280. There's always a chance you could get a late spike. Ideally, buy imbalance spikes it to 280. The flip at 55 gives you the short. But what are the chances?
Oh, we went downside.
Yeah, we just immediately went down.
Oh, good. We got a good fill down there. Okay, we're a little saved. We're not saved, but we got a good fill there on the TQs. We just got 17, the bid that we were talking about. So we got a couple bids here at the 50 period. It looks like we have Broadcom's a buy, Google's a buy. It looks like there's a lot of buys here.
Of course, AMD.
Palantir's a sell, so there goes Palantir. Yeah, there's your AMD as well.
Oh, you're gonna
we could check out what's going on with Amazon. Did we make the right decision there? Flat, so we're fine with that. Comcast bid, Google bid.
That's a big number for Palantir.
Change Google. Okay, not doing anything. All right. Yeah, I don't know if you want to look at this, because right now
Palantir it's a decent size imbalance for Palantir. 1.3 million to the sell side on Palantir is not chump change. Oh, that's not a big reaction though. Yeah.
No.
I was thinking if it had fallen all the way into VWAP or something, you'd play the flip trade on Palantir instead. But that barely moved off of the high. AMD, of course, put the tight stop on before, gets stopped out before the number, and then it does have a sell imbalance, but look how little it moved. So it's not like it would have given much of anything anyways. That could have maybe got a very small win on AMD. I'd say a little bit unfortunate, but Tesla did not have a big imbalance. I didn't even see it, so it's obviously not over 1 million shares. And if it's not over 1 million shares, no point looking for it. NVIDIA is 700,000 on NVIDIA. Yeah, so nothing burgers across the board for the imbalance locator. That MLGO, for everyone still tracking micro algo, it's holding. It's holding higher, but someone's selling this at $15. So a lot of resistance up here at the $15 level, up 500%. You guys know the drill. No one ever went broke taking profit. And this thing could drop to $10. It could run to 20 in the aftermarket. Just know that things get a little bit crazy on stocks, especially like that in the aftermarket, because liquidity is not there. Not the same access to the gateways, and stop orders as well, functioning differently for a lot of brokers. Just be careful trading that if you're holding into the aftermarket. Tesla's still time for it to maybe give one spike into that 280 level. That's about the only thing I'll be looking for until we get up to the desk for the aftermarket, in which we have Oklo, which is the big one.
All right, just real quickly here. We have been getting out, so we've been doing good. Our futures trade will be a good one, so we'll be like, thank you, futures. Thank you, futures, for a decent opportunity here in the afternoon. I am bidding some more 19s. If it does come through, we'll get some of that. And then we're bidding a little bit lower. Like I said, we still have about less than 20% as we're getting hit now, about 15% left, as we just got 19s again right there. So that was a good out for us on this. CNH, CRH. I don't know what's really going on with those. I'm not sure. It feels just funny that it's the same thing with the same imbalances. Anyways, all right. I did hear a call for Adara. Let us know when and if, but okay, she'll let us know. That's AMD to the downside. So I'm just going to sit here and watch this. So TQs, I am bidding 11s still. We talked about bidding 11s before. This is basically the lowest we've gotten now on the Qs. We did get lucky enough to get into 7s. Remember, we're still bidding 05s for a decent chunk. That would have been nice to get that. I was never, ever reloading these tops, though. So congratulations, everybody that's on this, man. Bitcoin, Mara, all of that. What's up, Adara?
Just keep an eye here on BA, Boeing here, and GE. That would be GE Aerospace, because we do have comments coming in here from Howard Lutnick, who is the U.S. Commerce Secretary here. Basically, what he's saying is that he's announcing a new commercial agreement between Korean Air and Boeing and GE Aerospace. So these three companies, including publicly traded Boeing and GE Aerospace, entering into a new commercial agreement. So keep an eye on BA and GE heading into the close. GE basically near day's highs here. Great look for this one. Whereas Boeing, even though it was day 2 catalyst with its contract here for that new jet fighter, actually a little bit weaker in the day, near day's lows. And we'd like to take the time to thank our friends at Trade the Pool. Our friends from Trade the Pool are actually back to Trader TV. Trade the Pool is a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using company capital. So that means no more risking your savings. Trade the Pool offers an unlimited trading period during the evaluation phase. No pressure, no rushing. Take your time, perfect your strategy, and get funded on your terms. Remember, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee. Your profits are unlimited. So head to tradethepool.com to start trading now. Back to you.
Right? That's funny. Okay, there goes the futures right there to the upside. So we were just getting out. The same candle. We got 14s, and then as we get ready for all these things to flip, there it goes to the upside. So all good, man. We're up on the futures, obviously, as we were getting pieces out, but there's the flip, and that's what we're nervous about, right? Like, out of nowhere, you just rip up 30 handles like that. So now you guys can see, what's sort of changing here into the close. NYSE, Nasdaq, there's NVIDIA buy, Apple buy, big buys here into the close as this market is really taking off.
Of course, except for AMD.
Yeah, right now, big time movement upside right now into the close, guys.
You got to be kidding me, AMD. Whatever, I'll stop the fail on that one. Because
Look
it
at
did.
The market.
No, but it did pull back. Like, the market's going higher, and AMD eventually did go. But like I said, always put a stop in before 350 when the imbalances come out, and then just try and roll on that. Tesla is not going to get to 280 in the time. There's only 4 minutes left to go here, so I don't think we're going to get that press at 280. It's still a big level. We'll have eyeballs on it tomorrow. Thankfully, just didn't force any shorts in this stock. It definitely made some sense to stay away. Super strong, 12% to the upside. I'm still of the mind that when you get to the 200-period moving average, you run into some resistance on this. And it's not exactly 280. It's actually 283.8, I think I have here as the 200-period moving average. So you have a lot of room above 280 that you could look for that resistance. Either way, I will be favoring resistance at that level on Tesla tomorrow. Do not forget, I'm going to head up to the desk in just a minute or so. But Oklo after the bell is going to be a big one. We'll go over some of the big moves that we saw and didn't maybe even cover as much as we could have, especially Robinhood, which was an absolute rocket today.
Yeah.
This is also at big resistance on the daily for Robinhood at that $49 level. So I think that's going to be a big one as well. Palantir never got to 100. Really felt this morning like Palantir wanted to make that.
What was the high?
97.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was, no, but a little bit earlier on in the day, it felt like it was like this push here. I'm like, oh, I got up too early. And then it just stopped moving for a couple of hours. Like from 11 o'clock on, it just stopped, and then a little bit of a late push. So it gets back to 97. 100, the way it's stair-stepping up seems very reasonably in play tomorrow. $100 level is just a psychological one you can't ignore.
Yeah, I know.
Like that gets to $100. Everyone in their mother's as a day trader is playing the 100 level just because that's how you roll on something like this. But I'm gonna go run up, refresh my water, and then head on to that. Good day today. Well, I am set up over there already.
Okay, you're good to go. Okay,
I'll be good to go.
Well, I'll try to handle the rest of this. Yeah, I don't know. Joe, you want to take over? All right. So yeah, look, we got back into the queues here. We just scalping it out just for something to do here into the end of the day. We got stopped out there. We just put on some shares again, just thinking that was that 355 blowout. And then we were able to cover a little bit 30s, 25s, 25s. So I guess 27s, 25s. We'll see if it does fade back in. Just going to give it up to 50, that high break. If it breaks up there, then we'll get out. Just wanted to see if we do kind of retrace back in here into the end of the day. For those of you who want to look, I want to thank everybody. So big shout out to everybody that's watching right now. Thank you so much for everything as we continue to get new highs, man. Almost 510,000 subscribers. So how many of you watching right now? 5,500. Thank you so much. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you can. Spend time, 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Do that. All right, so more bids. I'm just bidding down here, 50 period. If we can get a little bit of a move down, you'll get an, okay, I was gonna say you should get another little bit of a movement there at 58, but doesn't look like much happened there. And we'll just take this into the close. Watching out for NVIDIA, does have a buy into it, but that's kind of strange, right? NVIDIA is going the other way into that buy imbalance, so that's unlikely. Apple as well. Apple makes sense. There's a bid imbalance, so that's going upside right there as well. Salesforce. I really like Salesforce, man. I really like Mark Benioff, and that's going to be a good stock. How much off the bottom are we there? Yeah, 270 to 285. You know what was a name that we don't talk about enough that I really like? IBM. International Business Machines. This is a good name, man, even with a dividend. I think it's around 3% right now, but IBM, a good one there. A good name, a name that I've been in for a minute there. Again, thanks to Kramer, I've been in that one for a while. This is IBM. Nice move off the low. I think we can probably buy that one safely as well. All right, I don't have to worry too much about getting out of this position for the TQs. It's very liquid into the close, so I'm not going to panic too much. We only do have 1 more minute left, so I just want to make sure I do have some bids. Okay, I'm bidding 27s. Did we just get that? Okay, well, we did now. There it is, 27s, 25s. Bring it on down to, I don't know, Futuresville. Right now, 66.25s break. We're at 66.22. Hopefully we can get that one. All right, man, this is very exciting. There he goes. We get those 22s. So that was a good one. Rolling on 22s today are the futures. We'll see if we can get a little bit more. Only got part filled. Now we're out of them all. All right, here we go. I don't know. 10 seconds left right now. What's up, Adara? WKSP. This is brought to you by Worksport. Down with the Qs. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Miss Adara, as yeah, buddy. We are rocking and rolling right now as we start to cover some more of this trade. Look at where we're getting out now, baby. Down into the 10s, lows on the Qs. So, hey, good trade at the end of the day. We're still in a little bit of this. Thank you so much for I might just get out more. The quotes are kind of going crazy. We'll see if we can just get out at 14s here on the TQQs. Good couple outs there right at the end. Want to thank everybody for watching. It was a wild day here in the market. Thanks to Dara for all the coverage, the tariff coverage, everything during the midday with some of those small cap runners. Big shout out to Joseph. Big shout out to Sharif. They're covering some of these names in the middle of the day is no joke, that's for sure. Obviously, you're about to see Neil, so shout out to him in a couple minutes as well. Thanks to Michael Noss for coming out. I believe he's coming through again here tonight, so thank you for all of that, Mr. Noss. Ramin, thank you so much, doing the whole show by herself over there. Thanks, Andre, for filling in as well. Brendo, the man that's sometimes there, he was my UGG guy over there. Shout out to Brendan. Bears versus Bulls, if I didn't say it, big shout out one more time. And then to everybody else who's watching, couldn't do any of this without all of you. Come on, TQs. Just print 14s, man. We're at 17 right now. I might just get out here. Oh, here it comes. One more print. Anyways, all right. Follow the TQ trade with me in the after hours. But thank you so much to everybody. We got to get going. It should be a good night. I hope you and yours are safe and have a great one. We're back here tomorrow at 8:30. It's the Market Recap Show. You're going nowhere. See you guys.
Welcome to the Market Recap, brought to you by Profit X. Your opportunity to trade in the sports betting market. It's pretty cool. Sean and I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that next week, so shout out to them. But what a day. The only bet you needed today was Tesla Long. Literally. The only play you needed today was Tesla Long. And then you could brush it off and shake it off and do whatever you do. 11%. Check that. 11%. 12% to the upside. Wait, Tesla. 279. It wants 280. It needs 280. It must have $280. Was there a catalyst that could give you 12%? Nope. There wasn't one. But it doesn't matter. And why? Because we understand what the stock has been through. Like was $480, been getting beaten up, turmoil, bottomed at that 220, and all of a sudden you're getting a bit of a relief rally. So remember, when stocks go down like this, you get bigger percentage gains because it's easier to happen. Something retraces 50%, it doesn't really take much for it to go 5, 10% to pull back, right? That's the way that the market's going to work, and sometimes you can take that to your advantage. So shout out to anyone that was trading this one to the long side, and shout out to anybody that stayed away from trying to short this, because a lot of times the best trade you make can be the one that you don't get wrapped up on in. And it was a great start overall to the week for the markets here. Derek, you're going to see a lot of green out there. The Qs 2% to the upside, leading things right away. You had some strength the uranium names and some in the quantum names. I only bring that up, URA being higher and some strength in uranium names because we're going to have Oklo reporting tonight. They're the big earnings name, the Sam Altman nuclear play. So that should be a big one.
KB Holmes as well is coming here after the bell.
Right.
But yeah, Oklo is basically imminent. We're waiting any moment. Now, the other thing too that I want to mention, speaking of good days, I was just hearing in my ear, we did have AMD reporting recording its best day since February 2024. So AMD with best singular day in over a year. In addition, of course, to the strength we had in Tesla, seems like AMD a close second here. Oklo also here, I'm not seeing their earnings yet, but they did announce the appointment of 2 new board members. This comes after Chris Wright, who was part of the board, has been confirmed as the U.S. Secretary of Energy. So Chris Wright left. Now they've appointed 2 new board members. Apparently these individuals are Daniel Poneman and Michael Thompson. So benign OKLO ahead of these earnings. KBH will be soon to follow.
Yeah, and speaking of AMD, I mean, first of all, that's an incredible statistic, but it does show you how bad it's been for advanced micro devices. That said, and we've been showing this as a way to talk about what's been going on with this stock, and really, the trend is your friend. I don't have to draw this perfectly, but you get the idea. It's been a descending downward trend. I draw you the trend line for the other side of it, but you've just broken the 50-period moving average. The last time this closed above the 50, we said earlier, was going all the way back to October 25th of last year, where you closed above the 50-period moving average. Regardless of what you think about AMD, I'm now starting to look for this, knock on wood, for some longs off this 50 period, which sits at about 110. So strong day for AMD. Obviously, like last trade of the day, going to be frustrated because I tried to fade it going into the imbalances. At the imbalances, like right as the imbalances were coming out, it stops you out before dropping in. But that's a really tricky trade at the end of the day. And obviously 7%, strong day for advanced micro devices. But you've got to look at it from the higher time frame. And that's what's impressive about this, the fact that it's finally trying to break it out. Now, when I look at something on a daily chart, is it good enough to close above? No, not really. You need to see it hold above that 50-period moving average and try to break something out so that you can get a reasonable stop in and then just have a risk-to-reward trade. The other thing that we have to consider here is, in all of the strength that we had today, I know it's up 3%, but NVIDIA didn't really participate much in the afternoon. And that's worth keeping an eye on here. Like NVIDIA got to 122, and while the market was continuing to put in higher highs and some higher lows, it just sat sideways. It made its high in the middle of the day, and it never made another one after that. So a little bit of malaise there in NVIDIA when it did seem like maybe it would be stronger. But Oklo now out there, you're right.
Yeah, I forgot. I guess this came out like a minute ago, so I apologize for that. Oh, and it's one of those ones where they just post the notice, and we can't actually see what they're doing. But nice push to the upside here for OKLO. And the link they gave me, okay, here we go. Full year financial results. So here, what do we got? Oh, and these results are still the same thing in Benzinga. I'm not seeing the numbers yet, guys. Sorry about that. They're really making me do the loop-de-loop on this one.
And it's confusing trade as well because Oklo did break out here through the high to get about $1 above the highs to 32.5, and then pulling right back in. There was a slight break of the low that didn't last very long to get down to $30. So there is some movement here. Remember, 14% short float. And the other side of the equation is this is a stock that got pulled back. I mean, it lost 60% off the top. So this is prime that even up 15%, there could be more upside, but it seems like a little bit of trepidation here. So no real crazy squeeze, although it was already up 15%. You're essentially now flat here on Oklo. Not the excitement that I would like to see. Like ideally on a squeeze stock, you want to see it holding those highs and pressing and having a little bit of panic buying, but nothing yet there on OKLO. And Ari Pages, what is MLGO anyways? Didn't at all look at the company profile. Micro Algo, this is the question everybody was asking. What is Micro Algo anyways? I don't know anything about them. Again, I've actually seen 3 sources. One said 50%, another said 60%. This here on Trade Idea says 81% short float. I think that's more along the lines of what you needed to know here. It's just squeezing, and that's all. Like it's got a massive, massive short float. It's not a very large company. There's a very small float on the stock. So when you have a small float, only 7 million shares out there, and on top of that, you get a high short float, sometimes you get this squeeze type action. But we've all seen how this plays out. Oftentimes, this is what the daily chart looks like on MLGO. I think that tells us a little something, right? Like anytime I'm looking back to 2024 and you see numbers like $3,000 and you see lower highs at 500, you understand the old split game here being played. So just be very careful when you're trading something like this. It's easy to get caught bag holding if you don't take out your profit. So big move up there on micro algo for anyone that happens to have it. I see Foul Territory mentioning GME. We don't get them until a little bit. I think, are they tomorrow or Wednesday?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night is GME. I'm not saying GME is going to squeeze. And I am not any of the, I've never been one of those GME holders or lovers of the trade. But there is something at least interesting happening as it was bouncing off of a previous breakout level at 21, and you just snuck over the 200 period again, which was a huge level for when this held the 200 period, it went parabolic, and then even after pulling back, it held that 200 forever. So for it to get back above that 200 after it was just resistance going into earnings, this is kind of a classic setup that it could do a mini squeeze. Now remember, they still have the earnings to go through there, so you got to watch for the print. I'm not gambling on this before. I would just want to participate after the fact. So Oklo, now we have the numbers?
Yeah, so we got here Oklo, 74-cent loss here for 2024. This is for the fiscal year versus a 47-cent loss this time last year. So I'm not seeing any other numbers from them. As I said, they make it ridiculously hard to find their numbers. But again, year over year here, there is a decline for their annual there's a, larger than expected loss per share. Sorry, guys, my brain it's a Monday. But 74-cent loss per share versus 47 last year, so larger loss per share. They expanded their annual loss per share, guys. Not a good look. I do apologize for the confusion there. So Oklo losing more money than they lost last fiscal year. They also said their full year cash used in operations was $38.4 million. That is quite below their forecasted range of $40 million to $50 million. So less cash used in operations, good look, but also a wider loss per share. Also KBH here coming out with an announcement. Robert R. Dillard joining KB Home as Executive Vice President and CFO. Now, KBH, did you give us your earnings yet? Let's wait and find out. I'm not seeing the numbers themselves, but they did announce the CFO addition. Also, keep an eye. I think it's worth noting, we talked about AMD having its best day in a while, Tesla with its best day since the election. Also, IWM with its best day since the election, and consumer discretionary, which of course features Tesla and Amazon, having its best day since 2022. So, couple little statistics I'm seeing coming through right now.
Yeah, and I'd be worried about the home builders a little bit. We're alluding to it at least. I know Sean mentioned it. We didn't really expand on it too much, but I don't see how there's going to be any great news because, how do you get any movement in the stagnant market when everyone's sitting on? Well, not everyone. You got a lot of people sitting on 3%. If rates don't come down, forget about it. It's not like here in Canada where everyone's mortgage resets after a few years. You guys carry that with you. And why would anybody give that up? And that's sort of the issue that you're running with there. So, up 3% today, good move for KB Home. We'll see. Oh, come on. As if I was just saying good move for KB Home, and it just dropped $5 and is now continuing to go lower. So obviously the numbers have just dropped here as KB Homes just got smoked on the bid. Can't even have nice things here. 6% to the downside, trying to bounce off 56. You got to be kidding me. It's just live. We're like, yeah, so despite all that, it was up, and then we drop on KB Home. The good news is, check that, never mind. All right, so yeah, no, it's not above support. It just actually flat bottom broke as well. So yeah, it's breaking under major support on the daily at $57. And just hearing the groan that you just had, Adara, I'm going to guess it's not looking very good here.
Okay, so revenue here, $1.39 billion. That marks a 5% year-over-year increase. I'm not seeing a comparison to most analyst estimates, but the estimate I was seeing was $1.5 billion. That would be a miss. So I just got the official numbers from Benzinga. $1.49 billion here. 1.49 for GAAP earnings per share. That's a miss compared to 1.59 expected. Sales, as mentioned earlier, 1.39 bill, missing estimates of 1.49 bill. So they missed EPS and they missed on sales. Homes delivered down 9% year over year, though the average selling price did increase by 4%. They also here had a decrease on a year-over-year basis in their home building operating income. Also dropping here is their home building operating income margin. So margin dropped, operating income dropped, homes delivered dropped, revenue dropped. Average selling price slightly increased. That's the who's what, where, when, how of these earnings, though, again, EPS miss and sales miss. So top and bottom line.
Yeah, not looking good. And it's not like it was doing very well anyways on the chart. It was in a distinct downward trend. We said there's some pressure on the home builders. This is the kind of thing that'll probably, there's a decent chance you can start expanding out and maybe look at Lowe's on some sympathy that could be heading to the downside as well. Home Depot could be under some pressure. So you have flat bottom broken, major support there on KB Homes. And yeah, not really getting any kind of a dead cat bounce. You're hanging right around that 55. Still haven't really done anything to the upside here, unfortunately. And with that, we also have AAPL, which, I mean, it's not really doing all that well. You're still holding some of the levels on the daily, but it's right back underneath where things started. So that initial pop has been faded on AAPL. Remember, it was up going into the print because it had an up day, but it's now underneath $30 and pulling back. So yeah, you get a lot of volatility is still here, everybody. And unfortunately, at least one trend is not breaking, and that's over in the home builders. But I do think we are ready for a little trader talk with one of our favorite guests to go over some technicals, go over some ideas. Our good friend, the NOS boss, is in the house. Michael, my friend, good to see you. We've got Michael NOS, our favorite CMT. First of all, happy Monday. I know it's always a good one. Volatility's still here, apparently, with some crazy moves we got today.
Volatility's still here, and one of the best days since the election across the markets. It was a good day to come in long stocks, and I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens next. I wouldn't be shocked if we're 10% up from here or 10% down by the next time we talk.
I'm sort of with you on that, and we talked about this sort of before. Like, oftentimes when you're in a market like this, or sorry, a year, I should say, a market like this, meaning like a year like this, that you're gonna get more chop. And when you get more chop, you're looking for reversals. Now, granted, like, and I could use the NASDAQ as an example. I'll just use Tesla as an example here. Like, you have Tesla, which obviously fell precipitously, made a great bounce off, 220 in a recent low, goes right into a major moving average. And my first thought is, you bounce into a big resistance zone after a huge rally like that is, well, look for the reversion in the other way or look to trim, because we're not in a year when you're going up 20% that you can just buy the dip and sit on your hands forever. I still don't think we're gonna see that. I mean.
Yeah, and I have a chart here on my screen, and this is kind of what I dug this up because for this very reason, I thought we'd have this conversation. I knew you'd agree. And this is something I brought. I'm actually looking from the presentation that I gave. So this was January 17th that I was talking about this. And essentially this chart takes the 3 years of a bull market and splits them up. So each of these quadrants is a different average year of a bull market. So year one of a bull market, this, smooth line is what normally happens. It's the average of year one of a bull market going back to 1950. And this is what we did from October 22 to 23. You can see underperformed a little bit, but in the same direction. And then this is average year two, and we beat that handedly in 2023 to 2024. And then this is the average year three of a bull market, right? You can see this chop back and forth. And, right, I took this in January, so we're way down here somewhere by now. But I'm with you. I think this is kind of still that buy the dip, sell the rip type market. And I'm looking for where this market's potentially going to hit its head. I have some levels. I've got some ideas. But yeah, I'm with you. Same with Tesla, same with everything. If I get a rip, I'm instantly looking to get out. I don't think it's the kind of market that you just hold for these massive gains like we had the last couple of years.
Well, I'm glad you brought that back up. It's what's interesting about it is I remember completely this discussion in January, but I didn't remember that chart, which that's I'm really glad you brought that to our attention, because I think it exemplifies perfectly what we're looking for. But I just want to point out, it doesn't mean that we're not going to get bounces. I think it just means that it's and this is good for swing traders, ultimately. I think a lot of times, look, I get it, buy and hold or just buying the dips or a very simplistic strategy can be fantastic. But when you have all of this back and forth, it does give you all these swing opportunities in there where I can say, well, I still don't like AMD, just an example, but there might be a nice little short-term long until it gets to, say, a 200-period moving average, and you can take some points on it. That's the kind of thing that you want to look for. Now, you mentioned hitting our head. So, first of all, where are you looking, and then do you have any levels? Because I was looking at some things like the not overextended, but the outsized move that you had in the Russell, let's just say, and the small caps having a ridiculously relatively strong day today, and then running into a little bit of resistance. Where are you looking for some overhead resistance, Michael?
Yeah, I'm thinking, so right here on the SPY, I've got 570, 550, and I have it for two reasons. Doesn't mean that, right, it's obviously going to work, but there's two major areas that I think are important here. So the first one is this one right here, and that is just the January 2025 lows. We came down there and then we bounced, and then when we came back to that area a little later, we had about 5-6 days that we were battling that zone, we were battling that level, and then when that gave way, you had this big flush. So that's one reason. Again, 575.5. Also, the anchored VWAP from all-time high is right there as well. So we've got two levels right above us, and it was funny. I actually had this written down somewhere to come on the show and talk on Friday or something, because I figured if we were going to bounce, it was going to take us a couple days to get there. I didn't think we were going to get really close to that today. So for me, that's a very important level, and it is for a couple of reasons. One is, I've been getting more into quantitative trading. That's what I do over at Stats Edge, where, it's purely kind of algorithmic. And one of the strategies is buying the breaks of these anchored VWAPs from all-time highs after you spend a lot of time under it. So there is a provable kind of back-testable edge to doing it. So it means that this level can be important. So a clean break and a hold above it could be bullish, or again, if we bump our heads and we sell back lower, then again, this could just be more chop or a continuation lower. I'm kind of in the camp, again, still with that chart. I want to play with that average of the fact that we're probably not going to move this year. And like you mentioned, that doesn't mean that, it's a bad thing. It would obviously be bad if you were just buying and holding indexes, but I don't think many people watching this show are. What it just means is that the market has to rest. And to be honest, I think it's a great thing, because if you have 2 years back-to-back 20% gains, that's one thing. If you start getting 3 and 4 years higher and you have this parabolic move up, sometimes that leads to a parabolic move back down. So this kind of buying support, selling resistance, I'm totally fine to have continuing for the rest of the year. It's less fun than just buying, giant trends that continue. But I think this is overall healthy in the market. So again, 575.50 is a couple areas, a couple levels that I could see above here, and we could be seeing that as early as tomorrow at this rate.
Yeah, and there's another side to this coin that I want to get to. The SPY's at resistance. I think I want to look at it and maybe ask you about something which has been, traditionally it's been a hedge, and lately as the market's been pulling back, gold has been rallying to some fresh highs. And if there's another side to this coin, well, there is something which is in an upward trending market in which buying dips, quite frankly, has been working on the daily chart for GLD. So is the other side of this that for those that maybe they're not looking to short stuff because that's just not what they do, do you see some opportunities in something like a gold, or is there somewhere else that you might look for a buy the dip scenario if we're going to revert?
Well, it's funny because I have the gold chart up here, and funny that you mentioned it, but if you flip this chart on its head, it kind of looks a lot like the inverse, I guess, of the S&P 500, where we're starting to sell off again as the market was going to bounce, and we have a major VWAP from this March level, and we have the breakout zone right here around $2,900 or so on gold. I think this looks fantastic. I love the idea of looking at different commodities and looking at different places like that. I've talked a lot about, things like copper looking very interesting, and that was at this zone right here, this kind of 582, and we broke that. Silver, I think, is interesting as well. If you go to a really long-term chart here, let's do a weekly chart. It looks like a potential kind of cup and handle, the same as we were seeing in gold. So I like the look of things like commodities still. Natural gas is something that I've been obsessed with recently. So I do think that there are places to look. I brought some Japanese banks this morning. So I think you're 100% right on, if you only want to buy things, I think the two ways that you have to kind of survive this market is buy dips and then have an out, a place that you take off, if not all of the position, you take off a lot of the position, and then maybe reload if we dip back lower, or just look away from America. Because to be honest, and I know it is a lot of people have what we call in the CMT a home country bias, right? We're Canadians, but we trade the American market, so we get that as well. But if you look around the rest of the world, there's a lot of really nice places out there outside of when it comes to the US, like again, Japan and the EU and a couple places like this.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And this is the rotation back and forth is, as you mentioned, if that's the game that we're going to be playing, when tech reverses, this is where you want to be looking for the dips, right? So if they sell Europe to buy U.S. tech, and then that reverses, there's going to be some quality European companies out there to be able to trade into. The same thing as you were mentioning with Japan. I think you can do that to the extent. I think you're probably safer doing it with, as you mentioned, with gold. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, UNG's been fantastic. I would just think if you're relying on a correlation when it comes to natural gas like that, it'll be a little bit more dangerous. As great as the UNG trade has been, I always say there's a bit of caution with this. Can I just I want to get your take on something, maybe lastly here, because there was, and again, this is a name that I know you wouldn't trade. Well, I shouldn't say I know you wouldn't trade, but there's a lot of people that were watching today. A lot of our viewers were playing the momentum in this micro algo. It's like a bajillion % short and just nothing sort of Chinese company in here, and it goes like 500% to the upside or whatever it ended up being, 440% to the upside. My thought is, in a year like this, and if you look at the daily chart, it's split like a million times. In a year like we have, where it's not just like this rampant bull market, I would say there's a little bit more danger in these types of names trying to play those longer moves. Like we saw how crazy the nuclear names went for a while before they pulled back. I think there's a lot of risk in specifically these lower float, smaller companies that they'll be faster to drop a offering if they can, and there's going to be more violent pullbacks in there. But my question to you is, do you have anything yet that you're developing for some trades on these? Because I feel as if we're going to have a lot of these pump and dumps in this kind of a year where you don't get a couple of moves. You have one shot to get in. If you don't get it quick, you're toast.
Yeah, I am developing some systems for pullbacks on these, and actually two triggered today, so we can go over that. But I do want to say I think you're 100% right. On something like this that's a incredibly, unprofitable company and really no one knows what it does, and it's showing, $200 or $2,000 as the highest price ever, and then it went all the way to a buck, which of course is reverse split and split adjusted. These are just very speculative plays. There's one thing before I get to those two setups that I think is very interesting when you start to see more of these moves. It shows that the animal spirits are coming back because, we saw a Peanut the Squirrel coin and Fart coin and Pepe coin all just rip today. And those are things that you see when the market is feeling incredibly risk on. Like the way I always say it is that you're not buying $10,000 worth of Peanut the Squirrel if you're worried about your job or you're worried about, your 401k going to zero or anything like that. So when we start to see moves in these crazy names, I look at it as potentially a little bit of a risk on area. But we can actually just look CRVO, I think it was. Yeah, here. So this is this Servomed that was a huge move last week. And the beauty of trading these systematically is, and this line is where, we alerted over at Stats Edge today on a pullback. The beauty of trading these names and doing so systematically on pullbacks like this is right away in a couple days whether or not you're right on the position, and B, you don't need to apply a lot of buying power to these names. So when you're swinging them, the important thing to note is that you can trade these things incredibly small and still actually make pretty good returns when you're right and protect yourself when you're wrong. The downside to these is obviously they're incredibly volatile, and like you mentioned, the harder it is to kind of raise money and have positions out there when it comes to unprofitable tech with high interest rates and things like that, the more likely they are to drop an offering on you, and that's kind of the kiss of death to these. So if you're going to trade them, do so in a systematic way. But I treat these kind of like call options or trading options in general, where if I'm wrong, I'm going to lose a large majority of the investment. So I just size myself so that if it gets cut in half overnight, I'm not too worried about it.
And that's what it's all about here. Like, where else are you going to find a guest that will come in and we can talk about the broad market, the ceiling on the SPY, jumping on over to commodities, Japan and the European market, the Asian markets, and then we'll throw in a CRVO, which I promise a lot of our, outside of the moves that it's been recently doing, a lot of our traders don't know. And this is why you're such a great friend of the show. Michael Noss from Stats Edge. I can't say it enough. Our favorite chartered market technician. Good luck on all of those trades and great call out on that CRVO. Appreciate your thoughts. Can't wait to talk to you again at the end of the week, Michael.
I'll talk to you then. I always appreciate you guys having me on.
Take care, brother. So the funny thing is I always try to put Michael on the spot there. It's like, I'm going to throw out some random small cap micro stock, and then let's see what he can do with it. And immediately segues into a trade idea on another small float name that he already has. One of these days, trust me, I'm going to get Michael. I'm going to get him to say, you know what, I don't have anything in that range, but I'll get back to you. But not today. The day will come there, Michael. You know what we do around this time was that, what a wild day. I mean, obviously Tesla stealing the show here at Dara. No questions asked. Not that great for the earnings names today. So KB Homes nor Oklo performing that well. I know Oklo's up 5%. Remember, it's down since the close, since reporting. So 0 for 2 on the earnings name, but that doesn't matter because it just means volatility is here. Want to give a big shout out as we get into the rundown for the entire crew here. But remember, if you want to be in, not the rundown, I mean, what am I talking about? The roll call. If you want to be in the roll call, you have to be in the chat. To be in the chat, you have got to hit that subscribe button for this recap show brought to you by Profit X, everybody. So make sure that you give a big shout out to Ramin on the ones and twos, all by herself all day long, making us look and sound fantastic. Thank you so much, Ramin. Shout out to Andre. Shout out to the Midday boys, of course, the Bash brothers, my man Sean, Adara, and Brendan on the desk. Thank you so much. And thank you to Bears versus Bulls, the best moderator in the absolute business. So get that thanks, get it in the chat, and let's get some roll call.
Thank you so much, Bears vs. Bulls, for everything you do every single day. Thank you to Neil. Thank you to Sean. Thank you to Brendan. Thank you to Sharif and Joe. Thank you to Ramin, Fabian, Andre. And thank you to our chat, Stevenson, Etienne, Tony. We have Normal Special. We have Don Hybin. We've got Daniel Welch, Taz H, Gianni Leone, Marky J, Chef Joe, John Manzoni, Joseph Brown, nephew with capital P, John Manzoni again, Rajesh, Mark L, Healing Wholeness, Daryl Flinch. We have Havana Woody, Firmament. We've got Normal Special, Lazy Rocks, Redo Stocks, Bokify, Foul Territory, Silverado Blue, Jason Raybon. We have Michael Spadafora, Mr. Thumbs Up, Sebastian Ontiveros, Day Trader Cut, Mike H, Tyrone Hamilton, Sister Girl from Another World. We got Koba the Kid, Brandon Townsend. We have The Piper. We have Raul. We've got Los Pollos Hermanos, Silverado Blue, Lazy Rocks, Dilawar Singh, David Treziak, Rubicon. I'll end here with Josh London, Charlie Card, learning these skills and fast trades. We've got to be fast here in this market. But with that, we'll be out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
That's right. Tomorrow morning, there is more Trader TV Live because that's what we do. Bright and early at 8:30 in the morning. This has been the recap show brought to you by Profit X, and we're Trader TV Live, and we'll see you tomorrow.